Oh, yeah. Okay, come on. I know you picked your feet in Poughkeepsie. Come on, tell me. Come on. I know. Did you ever pick your feet in Poughkeepsie?
No, I picked somebody else's feet in Poughkeepsie. What you getting at, Flatfoot?
You took your socks off. You sat on the end of the bed. You jammed your fingers in between your toes, and you picked them.
I have never jammed my fingers between my toes. Come on.
Come on. You know what pose mean? You know what it means, goddamn. All winter long, I gotta listen to him gripe about his bowling scores. Now I'm gonna bust your ass for these 3 bags of coke, and I'm gonna nail you for picking your feet in Poughkeepsie.
I'm more curious about the bowling scars you're complaining about.
Scores.
Oh, scores. Man, I was thinking this is a really rough game of bowling. Come on. Full contact and all that.
Hey, I'm doing my accent via a French a French learn to speak English record. Come on. Anyway,
El gato say okay.
So I'm sitting on frog 1. That doesn't mean what you think it means. I
guess hey, this family friendly show and all that.
So welcome, Cosmetti's already in the chat. Welcome, Cosmetti, to Movie Watch Live tonight. One of the best movies ever made, the 50th anniversary of The French Connection. Came out 7th of October, 1971. Academy Award-winning movie, one of the best movies ever made. I'm tempted to do a Trump. One of the best movies ever made. Get all the other movies out of here. Space Force.
Space Force. What about Time Mullet? I hear Time Mullet's a great movie.
Oh, Time Mullet is definitely it's in the making right now. So what we're watching tonight is based on a true story. It's based on the story of. In fact, let's get the banner up because the banner tells us the same thing as it says there. So it's based on Robin Moore's 1969 book of the same name about the NYPD detectives Jimmy Popeye Doyle and Buddy Cloudy Rousseau, whose real-life story was a tale of tracking down a huge drugs ring with its. There was lots of different connections in this drug world of the 1970s in New York, but one of the biggest was the French Connection, and that's what this movie's about. And Charnier is the big baddie of the movie, and as far as the cast's concerned, Charnier is played by Fernando Rey. Of course, Gene Hackman plays Jimmy Doyle. It was Gene Hackman's breakout role as Jimmy Doyle on this movie.
Oh yeah.
This is the movie that really made him. So it's a long time since I've seen the movie, but it's one of those movies that I've always wanted to do on this channel because it's an incredibly well-made documentary style movie with an amazing soundtrack, which is like an ambient soundtrack, you could say, which really builds the tension up. It's got everything. It's got a car chase, one of the best, most memorable car chases in cinema history outside of the movie Bullet.
Oh, wait a minute. Even better than the Blues Brothers?
Well, considering the Blues Brothers is just one whole long car chase.
Well, that's true. The movie was the star. The car was the star of the movie. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to say that maybe they're on a par. But I mean, it's incredible. It's about a 10-minute long chase, I think, in this movie. It's quite a lean movie. It's 1 hour 45 minutes roughly. And it's got just about everything. Like so, we've talked about the car chase. It's got the crime drama, the way it was directed. There was a lot of research put into how policing was done in the 1970s. These characters you see are very realistic because they actually followed the policeman around, and these 2 guys are actually in the movie. So no wonder it won an Academy Award. So well done to the director, William Friedkin, who has done a lot of good stuff.
I was going to say that name sounds familiar. Seems like he might be known for another movie, one that we haven't done, The Exorcist.
Yes, I mean it's incredible director, and there's a lot of stuff in the movie that you don't quite catch because it's so well done. You don't even notice it's deliberately done, because even something simple like the lighting, he has all the lighting's hidden, so everything looks like it's not even lit. It just literally looks like somehow they followed people around with a documentary crew, which is a lot easier these days, but in those days you wouldn't have been able to achieve this kind of movie easily at all. So before I go any further, I should explain this is a commentaries channel, so if people are coming to see the movie, I'm sorry about that. We don't have the movie to show you, but there is places you can go to watch it, and we've got our own copies. If you like, which almost 2,000 people already who subbed to this channel, and we thank you very much for the subscribers. Please don't forget to let's do the YouTube mantra. Please don't forget to sub, like, and share this video.
Smash that like button.
Yeah.
Ring that bell so you get notified.
Hulk punch the like button, man.
Falcon punch.
Yeah, and we've also got a Discord. You can no, we don't have a Discord.
No. No Patreon.
No Patreon. No, none of that.
I'm still waiting on my check from Pete too. So
boomer style.
Boomer style.
The check is in the post. So we will obviously be talking about the movie, giving references, timestamps, and a lot of people do like that. And if that's what you like, then stay tuned and listen to our interesting trivia and inside knowledge. So
and drunken commentary.
And drunken commentary as well. And me mispronouncing words because I've already had a couple of beers. So Ralph, you've seen this movie before. I've seen this movie before. When was the last time you saw it? Do you remember much about it?
I remember next to nothing about it. I know I've seen it, you know, because it's been around forever and ever and ever. But it was, I honestly cannot recall the last time I've seen it. I'm sure it had to be a Saturday afternoon or, you know, late night weekend, like I think Flash brought up last week, WGN style, you know, edited for television's thing.
So like half the movie's edited out.
Yeah, exactly. It's like opening credits, closing credits, and everything else has been censored. So, but yeah, you know, it's got so many people in it. You know, Gene Hackman, Roy Scheider. Before I turn around and say Schneider.
Yeah, I grew up saying Schneider. That's just me, though.
Yeah, that Rob Schneider's illegitimate father.
Why didn't he just change his name to Schneider? It sounds better, you know.
Just to be mean. But it's funny you brought up Fernando Rey, whose picture I'm rocking right now. Did you realize he was cast accidentally?
I did not. We shall come to that.
Yeah.
Not that there's a lot of time to go into the trivia, but because it's a very lean movie. But we should get the ball rolling. Because for a start, we've kept Cosmetti waiting long enough already.
Yeah, she's already 2 hours past her bedtime. So,
yeah, I think I'm probably about 5 hours past mine. Well, to be honest, I'm on American time now.
Well, see, there you go. The
America.
British Standard Time. Yeah, pass it up.
Yes, sir. So let's get started. We all got our own copy of the movie. And if you want to join in at home, you might have a DVD, you might have a copy you can download or stream. It's available absolutely everywhere. It's one of the most famous movies ever made. I feel like Trump again when I'm talking like this.
You got great movies, the best movies everywhere.
New York thing, isn't it? You do the New York accent, you talk positive, you talk things up, suddenly you're Trump. So we're going to get it started. We've got a little video countdown. When you see the arrows, that means it's 3, 2, 1. Then you'll see these arrows pop up. That's your indication to press go, start, play on whatever device you're using. And then, as I say, throughout the movie, we'll be talking about it. We'll go into the cast, the direction. We'll be commenting on it and giving you trivia and timestamps and all that fantasticness. So before we go any further, very quick mention. Thank you to all the subscribers. Thank you to Cosmetic. Thank you to Tony. Thank you to everybody who turns up in the chat. Thank you to everybody who watches this video and who's watching it right now live and who watches it recorded. And a big thank you to you. We are almost at 2,000 subs for this channel now, and we're going to be hitting that in the next couple of days. So we're planning something special for that later on in the month to celebrate. In the meantime, back to tonight. I've got my copy ready. My copy is approximately, I think, 1 hour 45, something like that. And if you're ready to go, Ralph, we'll get the ball rolling.
I am set. I am ready to go. I have my glass of scotch out here, breathing a little. I forgot to let my last glass of scotch breathe, and it about blew the top of my head off. So taking it a little easier this time.
Yeah. Well, I've got some special Belgian extra strong ale tonight and some German lager. Which was courtesy of a present from somebody. So
sorry. Yeah, you said German lager, and the first thing I thought of was a guy in a lederhosen and a flannel shirt with an axe, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah, it's funny you should mention that. There's I'll send you something privately.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. No, I'm kidding. So let's get started, and I've got my copy ready. And on the count of the arrows, when they come up, you'll see these wonderful, better than any other arrows anybody else has got.
Best arrows, best arrows.
And then we'll get going. So I'm ready with my copy. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. So simple, even a boomer can do it.
Hopefully. Oh, wait a minute. My VHS tape is playing the pre-movie commercial.
It's garbled.
Oh, let me adjust tracking. All right, yeah, we just went through the 20th Century Fox logos, spotlights, and a Philippe d'Antone production.
See,
a French container. Oh, yes. Connection.
Gene Hackman. Fernando Rey, Roy Scheider, Tony Bianco. So let's go through the cast. So Gene Hackman, breakout role for him, 1971. Interesting because we've done Superman on this channel, and that was towards the end of the 70s. He was already a well-established actor by then. So this movie really got him into the big time. Fernando Rey, well-established actor in a lot of different movies, and Roy Scheider, everybody knows Roy Scheider from films like Jaws. And does anybody remember Deep Sea? Was it the Deep Sea thing, the sci-fi thing with the submarine and everything? Anyway, do you remember that DSC-7 or something?
Oh gosh, yeah, I gotta dig that up. Oh man, that's the Wayback Machine there.
But yeah, by the way, everybody's always eating something in this movie. I think it makes people look more realistic and helps their acting. So this guy is a secret policeman. Is the French version.
Oh, the FIA.
I don't know. Is it what they call them?
I have no idea.
The secret police.
Peppers Place.
He's eating what looks like a very delicious pastry, and so
that is not my dog. Oh, sorry. Sidetrack.
71. Look, oh, did you see the Citroen DS pass by there?
Oh no, I missed that.
Never mind.
I need to pay attention.
Don't worry about it. I'm not really paying attention either. So he's just passed something the other guy, but he's being watched as well, and he's also following. He's following Frog One, Alain Chanier,
as he walks underneath the hanging underwear,
hanging Johns and stuff. Yes, and there's a very, very small French woman who's
about 3 million years old.
About 3 million years old.
That was an early Betty White role.
Yeah, I love these. The already the filmography, you can see that it's done in a very documentary style way, and you're following the action in a very intimate fashion. A lot of close-up shots as well. So here's the guy who's been to buy his French bread or French stick, and he's just checking his mail. Oh, and suddenly, in fact, it's interesting because he's already got like a spot right in the center of his head.
Yeah, had an easy place to aim at.
Hey, buddy, if you want to aim right, and this is the worst thing, he actually takes part of his bread as well.
Oh,
and has your ooh, that's a fresh, crispy béton. I will have some of that.
Covered in ketchup.
Brooklyn.
Ooh,
hey, come on.
Hard to believe.
Hey, I'm in Brooklyn now, okay? Selling the hot dogs.
Now let's see if this has the same charming character of the French streets.
Yeah. Because Matty says, Roy Scheider.
Roy Scheider.
Roy Scheider. And we've got Popeye Doyle dressed as Santa because he's in disguise. Now, this was actually a real strategy they used. Doyle and Russo would dress up as Santa Claus because it was also used by other policemen like Eddie Egan, Sonny Grosso, stakeouts in Stuyvesant, which is a part of New York, isn't it?
Yeah, that makes sense. You're basically everybody's going to try and avoid Santa Claus because he's either going to make you sing a carol or he's going to hit you up for money for Salvation Army.
Well, apparently they used the signal Jingle Bells as a signal to the other coppers to make the arrest. So they've been in the barn. This is the suspect who's just sliced Roy Scheider's arm.
Okay, Roy got cut.
I love this scene because this is just showing the everyday work of a policeman, where you have to be prepared to run after criminals and actually do the work. They filmed this scene last, Ralph. They wanted to get because there's an interrogation scene coming up. They wanted to get it realistic, so they waited until they'd done the entire movie and they really got into the characters, got into the feel of it, and then they shot this scene.
Yeah, I remember reading that because for some reason Gene Hackman was a little hesitant to be so rough and.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. So
yeah,
he really is, and he's when I rewatched this movie recently, I just forgot how good an actor he really is. He's such a good actor.
Yeah, it's easy to forget.
So here they are in the back alley here where they're interrogating the suspect. And they're doing the good cop, bad cop thing. And of course, this is where he asks him, hey, come on. Do you pick your toes, your feet? And it's just to put him off guard because he's thinking, what the hell is he asking me about that for?
Yeah. Yeah, I like the bad cop, absolutely insane cop the way that they're going about this.
This is something that Popeye Doyle did in real life. These coppers that it's based on did this in real life, and it was all to put the perp off guard.
Oh yeah, and I gotta admit, somebody starts asking me about when I picked my feet, when I did this, when I did that. Yeah, I'd be like, what? No, I'm gonna talk to the guy that's asking me stuff that makes sense. And Roy turns around grinning.
You're suddenly on your bed. Put your fingers between your toes. Say it. Bit loud there. But yeah. Eddie Egan's in this movie, plays Simonson.
And Roy turns around grinning again.
Yep. So now we're back to Marseille. Quelques sons avec de Caro. Vous avez rien, Barreau?
Ask me about Poughkeepsie, I will tell you yes, I have. I am French after all.
Oui, c'est ça.
Matos.
J'habite à la Poughkeepsie. Pourquoi?
Je ne sais quoi. I don't know.
Ah, oui.
Oui.
Le stylo avec le table. So this is where we see the fact that this guy, we've seen, and there's a huge contrast in this movie, which is deliberate, which flies in the face of the bullshit, which is crime never pays. Of course it pays.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It pays big. Otherwise, why would people do it? So we see the contrast between Popeye Doyle and his partner, who are, living a very harsh life. And then on the other hand, we've got the character of Charnier, who's in the lap of luxury, and here he is in this massive mansion on the seafront of Marseille, and there's his daughter. Now, obviously, that's not his real daughter; it's an actress. Now, I have to say, Fernando, he's a bit naughty. He does go in for the snogs a bit too much in these scenes, I have to say.
Well, the French, they are but very
it's French,
passionate.
It's 1971, exactly. I do like his tweed jacket.
Ooh, that is a nice jacket.
So, for the youngsters watching, this is what was called a camera.
Yes.
This is before the advent of mobile phones.
That's why Popeye and his partner were beating the crap out of the guy in the alley, and you weren't seeing 500 people with their cell phones out.
Yes, exactly. It wasn't on Twitter 5 minutes later.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a nice big thick coat for him, because the American winters are very, very cold. Indeed, they are. In fact, you probably know this already, Ralph. The 1971 was probably one of the coldest winters ever in the history of New York. When they were filming this movie, they found it really difficult because it was really, really bad. And so when like Gene Hackman and the others are like trying to warm their feet and tap their toes together and the hands and everything, it really was that cold.
Well, there was a reason at the time that Time magazine came out with the the new coming ice age. So it was it was chilly back then.
It was. And in fact, you know how bad the global warming is with your Texan weather, don't you? This last winter was really boiling hot.
Yeah, exactly.
Cosmetti says, wow, Marseille looked the same in the 70s as it did in 2000. Yes, Cosmetti, that's because they've just let it let it go, basically. I wanted to say something else, but they haven't really painted it recently. This is the 3 Degrees, Ralph. They are the dance routine's amazing. One of the best bands ever. I'm just going to
bestest ever.
3 Degrees, Space Force. And so he knows the locals here in this bar. And again, the documentary style, I don't know how they achieved half of what they did, but the way the camera is mobile, following the actors around in these locations, a lot of the technology used was groundbreaking at the time to get some of these shots. And Scheider's there at the bar. So the reason they're here is that they've found out something's happening they don't quite know right now. They know about the different crime gangs and the drugs, but they don't know what's happening. But they're getting word of something big happening soon.
Yeah, well, and that's it. The hard part of a cop's job is you're always chasing the little guys, and you're trying to get the big guys where you can stop it from before it ever gets to the little guys. Because there's a bloody million little guys out running around selling whatever. But yeah, you cut the head off the head off the snake, and then the rest of the body dies. So.
Yeah. So there you go. So Roy Scheider and Gene Hackman patrolled with Eddie Egan and Sonny Grosso for a month to get the feel of the characters. Hackman became disgusted at the sights he saw during this patrol. In one incident, he had to help restrain a suspect in the squad car, and later worried that he would be sued for impersonating a policeman. I love the way he looks here as well. Can you see the look? It's really sinister on his face there. Look how he's just gone like this. Now, what comes across throughout the movie is like Gene Hackman's character is like a hunter, and he sees them as his prey, But he's also like that a bit. There's a little bit of misogyny in here as well, you see, because he sees women a bit like that as well. And by the way, I'll just say now, the character, I don't know whether the real person does, but the character has a little bit of a boot fetish as well, apparently. You can see that throughout the movie. Kinky boots.
Oh, well, you know. Well, and the other thing was that Friedkin and Hackman clashed because Hackman wanted to give his character some humanity because he wanted the audience to, you know, sympathize with him, connect with him, and Friedkin and everybody else was telling him, no, the guy's an SOB. You know, he's not a nice person.
Yeah,
you can't play him with humanity.
This is it, and he was well known, and you know, he was feared for the reason that he was really a bad piece of work.
Yeah, but you know, it's kind of like the old saying: he's a bad guy, but he's our bad guy. So,
well, on the poster it says he's a bad guy, but a good cop.
Yeah, so there you go.
Because what he says, when will I see you again? When will we share precious moments?
When will I see you again? When will we share precious moments?
There's no singing. No, stop.
Oh. No, there we go. Copyright strike. Record scratch.
So here they are on the bar just watching what's happening because they're being told about a possible big deal going down. So now they're on the trail of the character of Sal Bocca, played by Tony Lobianco. Hey, I'm playing Sal Bocca.
I'm playing Frabuca.
Yeah. So he's spreading it around, putting it on thick because he's got loads of greenbacks.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Outside. Eating again. How many times do people eat in this movie? Honestly, if we took a swig, okay, a new drinking game. Drink every time somebody's eating.
Okay, have you ever seen
boots on?
Yeah, have you ever seen a New York detective? I mean, a real one. I mean, you know, they're not built for speed.
No, I probably won't ever be allowed to go to New York.
If you get the opportunity to go to New York, pass. Just keep going.
To be honest, it's a lot like Britain, isn't it? So I'd probably it wouldn't faze me. I've heard it's bad, but I mean, it's just probably like any other British city. It's very European, isn't it?
It's very, very crowded, very noisy, very expensive, and very dirty.
Sounds like London. So, so there they are in the car now. Again, you wouldn't think this is lit, but this is actually a properly choreographed scene in the car because you can just make it. Yeah, it's a bit like a really well-made comic book, isn't it? Where you can just see the outlines in the darkness. Yeah. So here they are following the suspects, and they're now going to trail this guy, find out where he lives. Sal Bocca.
Sal Bocca gets out. He's got 40 chicks with him. They all load into the Lincoln.
We need Cosmetti to do her flapper voice at this point.
There you go.
I'm going to do Cosmetti's flapper voice. Why is that lady wearing a wig from the 17th century?
Yeah, that's a dang good question.
Cosmetti, we need you to do the flapper voice. So here we go. Now he's got the number plate. Now, did you notice the hat on the back of the car?
Yes.
Right. I'll tell you very quickly. Oh, Ratner's, are they still in business? I don't know. Is that the Brooklyn Bridge?
No, I don't.
Is that the Hudson Bridge?
Not sure. I don't remember which bridge it is, but it's the wrong architecture for Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah. So here they are waiting to tail the suspects. This is where it starts to really get serious. And yeah, so this guy, like a lot of the gangsters, was just into everything. They changed their identity, they changed their clothing, they changed their cars. It's all about putting the police off. And this starts the narrative of the way the cops and the gangsters try to play mind games with each other all the time.
Yeah.
Food Center, Cafe Roma. So yeah, the hat. According to William Friedkin, that straw hat being thrown at the back shelf of the car is a universal signal for New York City cops that they're undercover.
Don't
arrest them. No matter what, don't arrest them, don't pull them in, don't interfere with them. Because they're undercover.
You know, maybe they should use tactics like that for, I don't know, certain demonstrations here in the United States, where they don't don't get pulled over. It's, hey, what are you doing with a
What,
gun?
where they don't all have
Oh,
exactly the same haircut and, and sunglasses
yeah.
that makes them
Goodness.
look like they're obviously, you know, they can light up in the nighttime, shall we say.
Yeah.
Do you like the soundtrack as well?
Now, this is Brooklyn Bridge.
This is Brooklyn Bridge, and I love
Yeah.
the beautiful architecture and the way that they always use this. This is the classic cop movie that was
Yeah.
copied so many times. We've got to have a scene where we're driving across the Brooklyn Bridge.
Oh,
Blah,
yeah,
blah,
absolutely. You know. Yeah. And you were bringing up the music. Yeah, it's very nice. Just setting the mood, not overpowering. I'm liking the way that they're using the lighting. Like, for example, coming across the bridge, seeing the sun come up. So that would mean they were going into Brooklyn. So
you're going to see a lot of the detail that is normally left out. The continuity, the detail, extremely good in this movie, because it's got to convince you, because it is based on a real story. These events really occurred.
Yeah, just did the car switch, got out of the giant big blue, I don't know, Lincoln, whatever it was, now into an old Ford Fairlane. I don't know.
Looks like it. But yeah, they're getting out what looks to be bunches of news. Again, for anybody younger than 30, these are called newspapers. And do you think in years to come, me and you will have a job of basically teaching young ones about the world prior to the millennium?
This was what in the 90s was replaced by the Drudge Report, and then later was replaced by you know, I don't know, in search or other source of propaganda here.
I love these old stores and the frontages. They're so beautiful, and retro is big now, isn't it? Everything retro is stylish.
Yeah, there's still a lot of them like that. When you get down, you know, that's the thing is you get in the back streets of New York, you still got, like in Brooklyn, they've still got the big brownstones out everywhere. You know, I'm trying to think of, I can't think of a movie off the top of my head that shows them, but this architecture is still very prevalent. You know, New York is an odd city. Manhattan changes a lot, but Brooklyn, the Bronx, Queens, you know, they still have a lot of the old buildings that are still there. Yeah,
and it's so much of the period. He's holding onto a giant matchstick there.
Oh, I'm looking for a giant cigar.
I'm yeah. Oh, and he finds an oyster there. Just
Ooh, yeah.
And this is the character of Chenier. He's an ex or a former working around the fishermen and that kind of thing. And he's very much organic. He's very I just pick up the oyster and I just up and eat that on the way.
Oh yeah. Ooh, sorry, that's a bit too vegan for me.
But it's a great insight into the character of somebody who's rich, but obviously came from very, very, very meager background.
Yeah, still in touch with his roots. So
yeah, if he was, you know, well, here is the hitman that we saw earlier. Ça marche. Très bien. He's got a thick southern French accent.
Oh,
and every job had to be done. So this character is his hitman, who we see later on in the movie. And they're meeting just to talk about this guy who turns up, who is the typical, why do French people always look a certain way? And why do French TV and movie stars always look exactly a certain way? I don't know.
That's a good question, man.
It's just like they douse them in extra super concentrated Campbell's soup French. I will douse you in concentrated French onion soup. Alain! Oh, here he is.
Oh, I have the sideburns. Oh.
Henri, you're looking extra French today.
Oh, goodness, yes. Turtleneck, suit, yeah.
Oh, man. Henri, thank you for...
Gross. My accent, my singing, what?
No, I think it's my comment about being immersed in French onion soup.
Oh, that could be, yeah. Could be.
So here's the stakeout.
Yeah, they set up shop.
Opposite the Sal Boca. They call him Sal. Look at the cigars.
You know, I've been in places like this. It's an interesting little diner joint thing.
Yep, and it's a little bit of this is the first time you get some exposition in this movie because it's so well done that you just learn things as they happen.
Oh, you mean in using the visual medium in a visual to tell a visual story?
Yeah, it's like
Wow.
they're actually making a movie.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, man.
That's revolutionary. Yeah, this is also very NYC look. And look at that. I love the garbage man. He actually looks like a very young who was the guy who was in MASH?
Oh,
I think it was MASH, the TV series. He was in all the Ocean's 11 movies as well.
Oh, shoot. Shoot, I don't remember. I'm drawing a blank on both the character's name and the actor's name. Although I do remember I watched the final...
He was in Ocean's 11 anyway.
Yeah, I did watch the final episode of MASH as it aired live, so...
Well, there you go. Oh,
there's my bona fides.
Because Matty's got it, Jamie Farr.
Oh, Jamie Farr. Oh, there you
go. No, it's not Jamie Farr. He looks like no.
No, thinking you're thinking about the guy that was with Hawkeye, right?
Yeah,
out of the swamp with Hawkeye.
Hang on. This is by the way, we're now getting one of the big players who's come to the hotel for the meet. This is the first meet to suss out the quality of what these drugs are going to be. Well, it's cocaine, isn't it? Or heroin? Is it cocaine or heroin?
It's heroin. It's actually heroin. Is what
I did my research. Top dollar research on this show.
Hey, I did my work. I converted pounds to kilos so that we could talk to the kids today.
I think we're going to talk about pound sterling. There, this is a really great scene where they go into the bar and they start arresting everybody. And this is what happened in reality. They would just all crap their pants when Popeye went at okay, Popeye Doyle's here, you know.
Okay.
All the guys in this bar are, go on, you're gonna say it, go on.
Oh crap. Hang on. I pulled it up, then I'm back. Let me go back. I think you're thinking of the character. Never mind.
Elliot Gould.
Elliot Gould. Thank you. There you go. Yeah.
There you go.
Elliot Gould.
So, you see how he dropped something on the floor there deliberately?
Yes. Pick it up.
So you could frame them. Well, not frame them, but get them off their guard. I like this guy's weave.
It's
Mr. Doyle.
Nice. Ooh,
now, all the actors in this bar are actually coppers. They're all policemen.
Oh, really?
Yep. So that's why it's so realistic. And I love this bit here because it gives it away that this was one of the standard things they would do. They use chewing gum to stick. They would put stuff in a little metal canister and they'd stick it underneath the rim of the bar.
Oh, nice.
Find it, you see. Got to know all these tricks. So the reason I got to this bar is, and timestamp wise, we're just over 27.5 minutes. Reason I got this bar is they've been given a tip off about a big deal going to drop. They've already found out from somebody they were tailing. They now know Sal Boca's involved. So they've gone to this bar because there's an informant in this bar. We're going to meet the informant in just a minute. Well, sorry, not informant. Undercover cop.
Oh, there you go.
So this is all just a setup just to get to the undercover cop. This is like the same time as Shaft and all those movies, isn't it?
Yes, I think it was just after Shaft. I could be wrong though. Oh, you dropped something. Pick it up.
By the way, technical wise, did you know that the cameras and equipment would most of the time freeze up during the shooting of the movie? Because it was almost freezing all the time, even in the day.
I can believe it. Yeah, yeah. Okay, you know, I give New York a lot of grief, but winters up in New England get pretty rough. So yeah,
it's weird because they're actually there's a guy that's a fantastic afro, but
talking to me, baby.
What's happening, baby? I used to own a 70s leather jacket like that. Not that I'm that old, but I bought it retro. But
retro, quote unquote.
Retro. But this is good. This little interplay here between these two people. Now, by the way, I also really like. I really like Popeye's pork pie hat. I'm very much for bring back pork pie hats.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and that was some good acting to get him back in the room where he could talk to him.
Yeah.
That's an interesting note. He's got his little snubby pistol in his sock instead of carrying it, you know.
Yep.
So easy to get to.
Yep.
And yeah, not up there in the jacket, anything like that.
No, and they're talking about Sal Barker. He's giving him the inside deal. So this is where he says there's a big deal coming in.
Another big thing is dirty cops back in the day used to carry what was called a drop piece, and they do the same thing, stuff it down in their sock, so that if they were in a bad shoot and they weren't sure they were going to be okay, there just happened to be a gun that would just conveniently show up at the bad guy's, by the bad guy's body. So now a little bit of method acting as he beats the snot out of the guy.
Had the serial number filed off it, and etc. etc.
Yippee.
So yeah, so where do you want it? On the side, bang! Hits him on the side of the jaw because he's got to make it look convincing.
Yeah, exactly. He's got to stay undercover. And we are at 30 minutes 50 seconds for those of you keeping track at home.
Now this is the real guy, by the way.
Yes, I was about to say,
the real guy. And look at him. I mean, you wouldn't tackle him. He looks like, and the phrase in Britain is a brick shithouse.
Yeah, that translates over in America as well. Yeah, he's definitely not the kind of guy that you want to screw around with.
Not even try. So this is Simonson. And he's actually quite a good actor, to be honest. And this guy had a massively successful career after this movie. He was used as a consultant on every TV and movie, police movie, etc.
Yeah. Oh, and you gotta love that New York accent. Every year.
Come on. It's mostly Irish. The New York accent is mostly an Irish accent.
Well, yeah. Here in the States, the Irish came over. A lot of them moved into the police force. You know, that was especially in the New York area. You know, that's where they kind of found their place to fit in.
Actually, because before they were in the police force, they were arrested all of the time. So they thought, how do we get over this? They didn't cry and moan and start a hashtag. They joined the police force, and that's how they stopped the persecution of Irish people.
Exactly. Find a solution, fix the problem.
Exactly. It worked.
And now there's extra vowels and W's and stuff in New York all the time.
All the time. And they do things in the middle of the mouth. It's like wall.
Well, and a buddy of mine taught me how to properly say Long Island. So it's long guy land. So it's like, okay, I'm
Did you hear him say the line as well? He just said, "You ever pick your feet in Poughkeepsie?"
No, I missed it.
Because that was the real guy, and that's exactly what he did in real life. But that's such a great touch. The authenticity is so much there that the guys it's actually based on are in the movie. I'm a bit upset though because Cosmetti says hats that are too small.
Well,
I've got a hat disagreement with Cosmetti. By the way, this is 1970s celebrity comes to New York with 1970s news media. Hey, we're spoilt for up your ass. Oh, you're French.
Up your bum.
Can
weekly.
I salivate over you, please?
Yes.
What is it about New York Americans that, oh, goodness me, you're French. By the way, they hate the English. They hate the New York effete society. They hate the English.
I think it's because the American ladies love French men for some reason, and I don't want to say anything further for fear of getting you blocked in certain countries. Big old Lincoln Continental there.
Yeah, look at the size of that. And I'm talking about the car. Cosmetti says this.
Oh, yeah, got the old pork pie hat going on. Yes.
This is a great scene here where we pull away from the car coming out them, and this fantastic scene of the two of them in front of New York skyline. When was the World Trade Center built?
69, I believe. So
I can't see it there.
It should be. Let me double check. Maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe it was 72 that it was completed.
I'm also noticing a prolific amount of tweed jackets, tweed blazers in this movie.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them. Because, they're... All right, hang on a minute. Let me go look here. Okay. Oh, 73. I'm sorry. I was off by 4 years.
There you go. Because I was looking and thinking, hang on. There's no World Trade Center there.
Yeah, because from the Brooklyn Bridge, seeing the World Trade Center was very easy because it was in the southwest corner of Manhattan.
Yep.
So it was... By 71, there was probably foundational work, probably foundational work at this point. So even if they were laying iron, even if they were laying iron, it wouldn't be tall enough to see.
No, but apparently it was a building that couldn't withstand. Anyway, let's not go there.
No.
So I love that scene where he lifts his head up and his hat stays on the bar. It just shows you the human side. He used to go and get drunk. And we're going to see where he sees another lady in boots on a bicycle.
There you go.
That bridge is huge, isn't it?
It is. It is a very big bridge. I have been across the Brooklyn Bridge.
39. What are we? 36 minutes. Sorry.
Yeah, 36 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yep, exactly on the dot. Roy Scheider looks as cool as F in the black polo neck and black coat there. He rocks that.
Now, what you'll find interesting here is these buildings that look abandoned. That's just what
normal
New York looks like. Yeah.
Do you see how they've made it look like he's living in a prison, by the way, as well? They deliberately picked this building with these horrible corridors to make it look like he's living in a prison.
However, this is very New York, and you'd be paying a lot of money for this New York apartment.
The food's amazing in New York, I heard.
If you find the right place, yes. You got to find a nice little hole in the wall and just go in and just go with the flow.
And what about Boston? Boston is like the posh New York, isn't it?
Oh, I wouldn't know anything about that. You're talking to a trailer park manager from Texas. Yeah.
Side of the country. Well, to be honest, it's similar here because I'm from the north, which is like the same sort of diet. Ooh,
yeah, exactly.
That's the high alcohol.
Nice.
Woof. It's like literally high pressure. This Belgian ale. It's like 9%. Wow.
Nice. Yes. And yes, this is This is
He's
typical
been
New
picking his
York
feet
apartment.
on the end of the bed there. He's got
Yeah.
the handcuffs on the ankle. And then you saw the bicycle there. So obviously, bicycle lady has gone home for a cup of tea with pork pie. Oh,
Yeah.
Cosmetti says, Boston.
Boston.
Oh, Boston.
Yeah, Boston's got
And
that
then
too.
she just says is, and then she has like a poo emoji.
I think she's saying that it is chocolate yogurt. It's world
Right.
renowned for its chocolate yogurt.
Yes. Boston is a pile of chocolate yogurt.
Chocolate yogurt. Come on,
chocolate yogurt. So we're basically the two officers know something's happening. They're in the middle of trying to find out where the next lead is coming from. They're staking out Sal Barker, but this whole middle of the movie is designed to show you the reality of life. This is like a movie within a movie. So
yeah.
Really to do with the story of the drug tale. This is more to tell you this is real life. And this movie shattered some some bullshit stereotypical stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you're moving away from the, they get the lead, everybody's the good guy, it blurs the lines a bit, and you see it's not a cut and clean lifestyle.
No,
you got to get dirty when you're among them.
This is it, and I keep thinking of that line by Iggy Pop. Iggy Pop, I see the city's ripped back sides. Velvet Underground, and this is the kind of thing I think of because it's. And my brother was a copper for many years, and you see you basically see the gutter of human society.
Yes,
the worst people can get. That's what you see every day for as long as you're a copper.
Yep, day in, day out, every day. That's who you're rubbing elbows with. Oh, we got the official New York uniform and coat.
This bloke looks amazing. He's like with his cap on. This only happens in America. This guy couldn't exist anywhere else. And he also reminds me of Cabby from Escape from New York.
Yeah. You got the so you got the auction guy. Talks really fast. Got to keep everything moving. Get the money. Keep it moving along.
See, the auction guy would be a YouTuber these days.
Oh yeah.
The strategy here is they've realized that, or they've been told by the criminal fraternity that the theory is they've brought the car into the country, and they're gonna have it stolen and end up in a police auction. So we'll learn more about why that is later on. So this is great, this bit, as they're listening to these two. And obviously the two of these were in the middle of something, and he's had to go away. So she's getting pizza revenge on him by saying, okay, so you left in the middle of this, so you're going to have to get me a pizza, and then don't forget the anchovies.
Oh, nobody eats anchovies. I think he's
got a couple of cans of Schlitz.
Yeah, I would say that does look like Schlitz malt liquor. I honestly don't know of anybody that drinks Schlitz.
Schlitz is for shits.
Yeah, that moves it there. Oh,
I love that bit as well
lead.
because they finally got their first lead. Yeah, as you said. And look at that skyline. Yeah. I mean, the thing about New York is it's a fascinating place. It has to be.
Yeah, it has character.
Well, you do know the English stole it off the Dutch originally. The Dutch were doing really well, and the English thought, we'll not bother setting up a colony. We'll just steal the one.
Yeah, I like this place. This is a nice place you built. I mean, this is a nice place we built. Move along, Dutch.
New Amsterdam? Screw that. This is New York.
New York.
So this sequence here where they've got the information they needed. Now that tailing cell, they actually caused a real. They couldn't afford to hire or close the bridge, so they actually caused a real traffic jam.
Oh yeah, that's easy to do in New York. Trust me. Trust me, that's easy to do.
I can't believe they did that, though. I mean, that's so basically they engineered it. So it was totally illegal. So they engineered this thing, and the people in that scene aren't actors; they're actual frustrated New Yorkers.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And New Yorkers, they are very proud of their nothing phases us attitude. So
look at this scene here, Ralph. This is a really good. This is the mind game. It's like, am I being watched or not? And you obviously are, because he's just given the game away. Yeah. And he looks at him twice in the close-up angle. This is a beautiful direction here with the angle on him, and he walks away here, and you can see the influence of like French films, because the director was heavily influenced by French and Italian directors.
Yeah.
Look at the way he walks, though. I mean, he's a handsome-looking fella, but he walks like a freaking pigeon.
Yeah, it's a very odd walk. But you see, notice Popeye and
see how he just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then the camera pans across the other side of the street, and this section of the movie is called The Tale. Yeah.
And this is similar to what cops do when they tell you in a car. As soon as you're made, you take a turn, you disappear into the background. The next guy in the line comes up.
This is it, and it's so well done.
Yeah.
This is the mind game of, he knows he's being made, but the Sal knows he's being watched. But the thing is, he can't let the police know he knows, because if he lets them know he knows, it's like he's admitting that he's actually in the process of committing a crime.
Yeah,
so he can't actually do anything. He has to just say nothing, do nothing, and pretend that he doesn't know. So it's this constant layers of mind games going on. Brilliant. He just bumps into Charnier there. Look at that scene.
Yeah. Oopsie.
Oh, pardon. Je ne regrette. D'accord.
Oh, take Sal, I'll take the beard.
Yep. He's going for the beard. And you can see it's freezing.
Oh, yeah. Of course, the good thing about New York in winter is it doesn't smell like New York in summer.
True. I just think it's always been like that, because Manhattan is just, everything's so crammed together.
Very, very. And then, with all the buildings, you get a nice wind tunnel effect. So, it's not like Chicago where the wind just kills you, but. Oh, what I missed? What'd you spot that I missed?
Just what you said.
Oh, the wind tunnel effect.
So Charnier and his assassin were just checking out the Francais grocery, and now they're going into the fancy French restaurant. And this scene coming up is so good, because you see from inside the restaurant the 1970s, where they always brought everything on a table to you.
Oh yeah,
all that stuff. And outside you see Popeye sheltering in a doorway, eating a crappy piece of pizza, while they eat like I don't know, like $100 main.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, picking through, trying to decide what they want to get.
Oh, and his half-rimmed glasses. And this is the whole crime does pay routine. I think that's what you call not a fondue. What's it called again? Oh, I forget the name. I do actually like French food. It is really, really good cuisine.
I have not really delved into French food unless it's deep fried. Then there's not really any reason to have it at the Texas State Fair. Oh, cutting off the.
There we are at the table again. You
Yeah.
see, all this crap was in the 70s. You see him rubbing his fingers together and tapping his feet. It was really, really freaking cold. And
yeah. Now I've got a little thing about the rubbing your hands together thing. Friedkin was getting it, trying to knock Gene Hackman off his game. So he was trying to get inside his mind, make him angry, make him do all these different things. And so he was arguing with Hackman about how to rub his hands together and this and that. And he's like, finally, Hackman just snaps at him and says, "Well, you get over here in front of the camera. You show me how it's done." So that's actually Friedkin's hands doing the rubbing the hands together thing in the extreme close-up. And Hackman said, "Good, we got the shot," and took the rest of the day off. So,
man, I tell you.
terrible coffee, which he dumps out while they have espresso.
We've all had really bad coffee that tastes like dishwater.
Yes.
To save money on the budget, and also because they didn't want to have permits, it says here, there you go, William Friedkin had the cameraman carted around in a wheelchair instead of using a camera mounted on dolly tracks. Gene Hackman runs to the entrance of the subway car as the camera follows Hackman hurrying down. It's a smooth, but then shakes noticeably. The cameraman has to go from the wheelchair and follow Hackman at the subway car. They used all sorts of tricks to do this on a budget because it was all new stuff, and they had to come up with. If you see the pictures, there's one of a cameraman strapped to the side of a door, the back door of a car on the side, with like rope and some bits of wood. I mean, you could not do that these days.
Oh no. You know, and you know, when we do the big chase scene, then you know, of course, there's interesting things about that. But this is very New York, where you can see what floor the elevator is going to.
Yeah, no security there.
Oh no. Yeah, and saying, "Hey, that guy that just walked in, what's his name now?" Yeah, that doesn't happen anymore.
And you can see how much of this is about just standing and waiting. It's like as if they are the hunter. You know?
Yes.
He's out in the cold all the time. Actually, that's a movie we should do sometime.
What's that?
The man who came in from the cold, Richard Burton.
Okay.
Oh, there's a drunk collapsed in the doorway there.
Pretty sure he's not a paid actor. I will tell you that on my soul trip to Manhattan, my most memorable part of the trip was almost getting peed on by a bum. So I was walking on the middle of the sidewalk.
Lovely.
The bum was at the edge, and he was peeing into everybody walking by.
Nice.
It's like, oh, thank you.
So again, we get this scene here, which is lit inside the car. I don't know how they did it, but it's just enough so you can see the faces.
Well, exactly, and you know, they've got it lit in such a way that you're right. You can see the faces, you can see the actors. Whereas modern cinema, too often, this would be just a black screen with a few vague outlines here and there, and you can hear the actors. And it's like, you know, this is believable for what the human eye picks up in the evening. So very good
really
job
close,
on that,
isn't it? Yeah. Steve McQueen was up at the place, the role of Popeye, but he said he'd played too many cops, like in Bullet. He didn't want to act any more cop roles, so he turned it down. It's interesting about Bullet because we mentioned earlier, the director said he wanted a car chase, and it had all been done. It had been done with Bullet, but this is why they changed the whole. They came up with a new type of car chase. We'll see later. Now this scene here, which is the drug test scene. And there's another one later on as well. But this scene here is 100% accurate. Now, I think in both scenes, or definitely the one we see later, they used actual narcotics.
I believe that you are correct because, you know, to be quite honest, it would be probably cheaper to do it that way than to do the special
Yeah.
effect for it. Yeah, and it's funny you talk about the casting. The person that I found the most odd that was suggested to play the part of Popeye was Jackie Gleason. I read that and I thought that was a misprint, and it's like no. It's like okay, that would have been an interesting selection.
Yeah, that would have been a total disaster. But I think Hackman was the right person for the role. When you look at him compared to the real life Eddie Egan,
yeah,
shoot. I mean, it just shows you real life is it's reality, isn't it? Compared to a cinema, but even despite that, this movie comes very, very close to reality. I mean, if you had bare naked reality on the screen, it would be too much for people to watch. Really.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I complain all the time about things like you know, silencers in movies when you're going with guns, certain things that take me out of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, most people aren't. Number one, yeah, like you were talking about, having to sit around in the cold for hours on end. Most people don't want to see that in their cop thriller movie. You know, people aren't really ready for reality, so they do have the romanticized version of it. But this one gets pretty close to at least hitting on the truth.
It does really come close. Actually, I just found this bit of trivia in at least one glimpse of the Manhattan skyline as the car's being unloaded from the cargo ship. We missed it.
Oh, yeah.
You can actually see the first of the 2 World Trade Center towers under construction.
Yeah, I missed it. I'll have to go back and look. So, yeah, you very good, Pete. Yeah. And I didn't think about it. I wonder if
all that work they put into it, because you know you only need like 1 week of learning how to fly a Cessna, and suddenly you can fly a 747. I didn't say that. I didn't say that, did I? No, I didn't say that.
You didn't say that. No, if you get a little infographic.
Exactly. I was talking about a movie there. Oh, you've seen Frog One.
Oh. Dum.
So there's Frog One, and this is the ongoing pursuit, which has the next amazing scene. Because this movie has about 5 or 6 incredible, really well worked out scenes where you just follow the action constantly. It's not like scene after scene after scene. It's like a constant stream of activity, which is so good. And this is coming up to the subway scene, right?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, you know, they gave the glimpse of him looking in the telephone booth. So that would have been the only way he could have called for backup. He doesn't have a radio on him.
Nope.
And there were no cell phones, no internet, no IMs to, hey, send help.
I was just thinking, like all the police work policemen used to do, it's all just them sitting online now watching what the naughty tweets and the cruel little tweets that people make.
Yeah.
You said a bad word on Twitter. Knock, knock. Hello, sir. Have you got a license to do that?
Well, here in the States, the other thing is to post pictures of your wad of cash and your guns on Snapchat. It's like, it's not the smartest thing in the world to do.
It's incredible they're able to do that, considering it all went down in the boating accidents.
Yeah, exactly. You know, of course, some people weren't smart enough to learn how to boat. So we'll just say that.
Exactly. Now, this scene here, where timestamp-wise, we're up to 57 minutes.
Yep.
So we're almost about 2/3 through the movie already. Now, you see this guy here in front of Gene Hackman. This is actually real. That's not an actor. Because with the documentary style, a lot of what you see is actually just ordinary people about their everyday business. So he's waiting outside this flower shop at florists. He's tailing Frog One because now they know big deal going down, and they know Frog One's involved. So they're really hot on the trail now. Sorry, Ralph, you're going to say?
Oh no, I was going to say yep, and he's gone. And you know the other thing is when you're actually shooting on the streets of New York, there is no way to completely shut things down. You know,
Absolutely not. It's just ridiculous, isn't it?
no.
You can't ask people to do that.
Yeah. Well, you can ask, and you'll get something.
Could maybe create some sort of
Traffic
pandemic
accident.
and.
Oh well, no, it still doesn't work.
No, I love this scene here where he runs down the subway and there's nothing. He's trying to find him. So here we come to the subway scene.
Yeah. Do not love subways. Subways do not want.
So here we go.
Oh, just picked him up. And he's off. Yellow cabs. Yep. There are yellow cabs everywhere in New York. You can identify
Frog One with the umbrella. And there's a lot of setup all the time about this guy who he's as if he's the nouveau aristo, you know?
Yeah.
And when you look at this scene, it's just like, this is 50 years ago. Actually, you were here for, you know, when we did, what was it, Pelham 1, 2, 3?
Yes, yes.
And that was 3 years after this. Now, I think Pelham was inspired by this movie. And this is great to see because he goes on 3 times. Okay, so he's got, Chanier, Frog One's got on the train. He's got on, now he has to pretend somehow he has to get off again. So Chanier knows he's being tailed and he's just playing with him.
Oh, yeah.
He gets off the train. And, of course, Popeye has to pretend to get off the train now. So he makes something up with this girl as if he's disagreeing with her.
Yeah.
And then...
it's too late. You're made, buddy.
But he's not quite made yet because just in a minute, you see the mind games going on here. Shani is sort of still thinking, is this definitely a cop? And then once he realizes he is a cop, then at this point, he's just sussing him out. He wants to know how good of a cop he is and what's his personality. So he's watching the behavior.
Yeah.
And then obviously Popeye's watching his behavior as well. This is Doyle. I'm sitting on Frog One. I want to whisper my yes.
Yeah.
By the way,
Yes,
I love this scene here coming up. This is one of the best scenes in the movie where the photography and lighting is perfect, and you're just watching Shani enjoy a nice freshly squeezed orange juice, but then he's looking over at Popeye and he's just sussing him out.
Yeah, and you notice they have custard there. I wonder if it's chocolate custard, maybe fresh from Boston.
Boston chocolate custard.
Boston chocolate custard. You can take it down to Long Island and eat it. Yeah. And then onto the... Oh.
He buys a toffee apple. You don't see toffee apples these days.
No.
Do you call them candy apples? I don't know. Have you got the same name? Or?
Yeah. We call them candy apples.
Yeah.
Oh, you're busted.
There you go. Yeah. 3 times. He's definitely busted now. Well, actually, this is the second time, but there is a third time as well, just to make sure. So I love the touch where he stops the doors with his walking stick as well. Do you see what he did there, though? Really quickly, just step backwards.
Pop back in, and fast. That's it. It's got him. Yep.
And I love that. There's your picture there, you see. The wave.
Yep, exactly.
And the way the camera follows the action here, down the station platform and then out into the tunnel is beautiful. It's just perfect, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's showing that he's completely lost the thread. He's completely detached from what's going on. Now we'll follow Sal Barker, who's going on a flight to Washington. Now, without going into it too much, there's a lot of controversy about this story, and that it involves a lot of, shall we say, agencies.
Oh, you mean like
And
airline agencies?
no, let's say more agencies
Travel agencies?
who wear sunglasses and have the same haircut and things
Oh,
like that.
speaking of agencies, it looks like the Washington Monument, like Washington,
It
D.C. I
is,
don't
and I
know.
love the chemtrails.
Yeah.
So here they are, they're meeting in Washington. I don't know why this occurs in the movie, because Washington is quite away from New York. Well, in English terms, it's a long way.
Oh yeah, American terms, it's not that long of a train ride. So
I mean, it could have just gone to Boston.
exactly, got some custard. I hear the custard in Boston is wonderful this time of year. I need a little more time.
So you see the conversation. Yeah, the conversation is really about setting up the deal, because Barker is now, the front man for the deal. And Charnier is starting to get nervous, and he gets more and more paranoid as the movie goes through, until suddenly, right at the end, he's extremely paranoid because he knows the police are closing up. And look who's sitting there
Bum, bum, bum.
on the monument stairs, not the monument stairs.
Oh yeah.
Where
Let me
watch
think.
Lincoln.
I gotta think. Actually, no, that's probably not the Lincoln Memorial, because they were too far away from the too close to the Capitol. So I will.
Memorial.
Yeah, it would be something around the Capitol building.
And here the conversation between Charnier and his hitman, who Bocca's scared, he says. So obviously they're now thinking, how do we get this sorted out in the quickest time? So the assassin decides he's going to wipe out Popeye, get rid of him. He's not going to be a problem anymore.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There'll be others.
Yep. But by Friday we'll be gone.
And I gotta give him that's a fair thing, because it will take time for them to shift around.
Now I don't know what this relevance of this car crash is, because it's not relevant to the story at all. I just think it's showing the everyday work of the policeman, because it's not part of the story that's going on, is it? It's really just an opportunity for.
Well, and that makes sense, because that's the thing that reality is that a detective doesn't have one case that he's running from beginning to end. A detective is juggling multiple cases at the same time.
Yeah.
And in a city like New York, he might have a dozen cases active at once that he's trying to juggle resources, time for. He's fighting fighting for the ability to get assistance on this or that. So I can see why this is in there.
Back to work.
Back to work.
Back to work. So that's Eddie Egan, the real deal.
The real man.
You see all the time, the subway is there in the background all of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So the director is setting the scene up perfectly. And so it's only when he's ironically off the case that these events start to unfold, which put him right back just when I thought I was out. That's another movie, actually.
But yeah.
The mother's just been shot. I mean, this is another thing. People get killed in the crossfire.
Yeah.
And he does his cop roll movement in a moment. So Mr. Frog Sniper has just murdered potentially a young mother.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Eddie. At best, that is a 38 snub nose you just pulled out of your sock. Yeah. I don't think you're going to get a sniper on the roof with that.
Nope.
Oh, there you go. And yeah, kids right by the window. Now this is very American because yeah, gunshots, something wild happens, tornado comes, everybody goes to see what's going on. It's like, no, idiots, go inside. Bullets are
And you can
flying.
hear them in the background. Hey, what's happening? I think he's a cop. Is he a cop? You call the cops? No, he's a cop. What's happening? It's trying to kill. Somebody's trying to kill a cop.
Yeah, exactly. Call the cops. I don't care if he's a cop or not. If he's a cop, the cops won't do anything.
By the way, did you know that Al Copeland named his restaurant chain Popeye's Mighty Good Fried Chicken after Popeye Doyle? I don't know why we didn't mention that before.
Oh, I had no idea.
He loved the character so much in the film, The French Connection, that the chain that grew from be one of the biggest famous fried chicken places ever.
Now, and I'm going to give
after this movie.
Oh yeah. Now I'm going to give the assassin props for being very smart. Left the gun there because the gun's not going to be traced back to him. I'm sure the shells and everything don't have his fingerprints.
Oh yeah,
on
they'll
it.
be custom and everything.
So, you know, he's not running around with an obvious gun, which makes him easy to pick out.
No, true. And this is where the whole chase scene starts. So we've got like a 10-minute chase scene now, Rob, which starts on foot, then goes to be the car chase scene, which is considered one of the best car chase scenes in all of movie history. I know you mentioned Brothers, but
yeah,
you know, he tries to find him on the subway here, and
for non-US viewers or folks that aren't familiar with New York, the subway does consist of below ground as well as elevated trains and platforms, depending on what part of the city you're in.
Yeah. And it's a bit like Chicago's train network, isn't it? Because they have the bridge trains. So this is great. This scene here where he tries to tell him to stop, but he can't because, and this is the thing that Friedkin came up with, right? He thought, okay, the car scene, the car chase thing's been done in Bullet. How do I reinvent it? So now he's got a car racing against a train.
Yeah.
So best ever. To Live and Die in LA is one of the other greatest car chase scenes, but this is considered in the top 5. The conductor.
Oh yeah,
on the subway train was an actual conductor whose name was Bob Marone. Yeah, was supposed to play the conductor, didn't show up, so I had to get somebody from the transit authority.
Yeah, now in the United States, this is something the police can do. They can commandeer your car in an emergency.
Yeah, and this is the first time I've seen it in a movie.
Yeah, it's usually not some random guy. Usually they'll at least show you identification that they are a cop before they steal your car and peel out Grand Theft Auto style. Now when I first was watching this, I was thinking that this was shot in Chicago because this looks very much like Chicago. Chicago, the majority of the train system is above ground. It's elevated like that. The same kind of reinforcements. It looks a lot like Wacker Drive, but it is not. This is Brooklyn.
Yeah, it does, and it's funny because it is all definitely authentic. I mean, the director didn't skimp in any sense.
Oh, absolutely not.
And there you go. Just to confirm that he's not afraid of shooting anybody dead.
Yeah, and I did find it interesting. There was a New York cop that was on there, but now coming back to this, you talked about permits earlier, and they didn't close down the Brooklyn Bridge. They didn't have permits for this either. They did have some cops that kind of tried to hold traffic back, but this was shot without permits. The cars that are out there driving around are not part of the production crew. The people out walking are not extras. This was shot in Brooklyn underneath the L train. And you talked about the setup. So they've got a camera in the car under the passenger side to shoot the
Do you like the way? Do you like the way you can see the reflection as well of the track in the front windscreen?
Oh, I missed it.
This is a beautiful car as well, because you've got the idea of speed. They use the reflection on the windscreens of both the car and the train to give you an idea of speed. I don't know what car that is, but it's a beautiful car, and I love that stop. He's just handbrake turned there.
Let me look and see. I may have that there.
It's two sections for this chase scene. It's not just one section. It's an unbelievably indulgent, amazing car chase. There's two sections, so he's got out there. He thought he would track the train, but then obviously train's not going to stop the station.
Yeah, he's not going to stop.
And the second part is even more ramped up and amazing than the first part, where he's crashing into things and everything.
I recognize that actor from somewhere, but I don't remember who he is.
Yeah.
The car that Hackman has is a 71 Pontiac Le Mans.
Lovely.
So they're shooting. They've got a camera in the passenger side. This was a real accident.
Wow! No way!
Yes.
No way!
Yes, that was somebody that actually blew by where they were trying to hold traffic back in Hackman or Hickman. I don't know who was driving. Actually hit them. So now
they put it in the movie.
Yeah. Now, in Hickman, these fast parts, the stuntman that did the driving for Bullet actually did driving on this, and he took off under the L train for 26 blocks, doing 90 miles an hour, and Friedkin was in the back running a camera that was undercranked to 18 frames a second to make it seem even faster.
What?
So yeah, them filming this now absolutely would not happen.
Not happen at all. And look at how its hair is. Imagine seeing this. I mean, still now when I see this, it's like, whoa. And to think some of the cars coming through are actually not part of the thing. You would never, ever, ever get
Oh, no. Absolutely not. And then, boom. Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
It's insane what they used to do. This is very guerrilla style for a major motion picture.
It was, and I think the director had this. He took this whole guerrilla style of filmmaking from the Italians and French, and he made this movie. And then American cinema was never the same after this movie.
No, and they really cracked down on this stuff. The cameraman refused to ride in the car for the filming of this. So Friedman had.
I'll give you another quick one. Sorry, Adam West was considered for Popeye as well,
Oh, no way. Not Adam West.
We've just seen somebody killed there. Sorry, I talked over you there, Ralph. Go ahead, quick. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say I'm imagining Adam West trying to ham his way through those lines.
So he's just shot another guard. The driver's passed out. We've now got a runaway train.
Yeah, that's not good.
Not good at all. It's probably going about 60, 70 miles an hour. Look at the state of that Pontiac now. How is it still driving? My goodness me. It's going to hit the end of the line. The safeties are kicking in. It's going to hit another carriage. Ow. Lost his gun.
Yeah, that's actually, in the grand scheme of things, the end of the line, that's actually about the best that you could hope for.
By the way, do you know subway car 4572, the lead R42 rail car in the chase scene that we're watching, has been renovated. It's operating on the M and Z line, or Z line, which runs from Jamaica, Queens to Lower Manhattan. So it's still running.
Oh, I had no idea. I believe it, man. Those cars are ancient.
Strange alternative roles. William Shatner, because he's still listening. William Shatner was considered for the role of Cloudy Rosso. That would not have worked. What are you chasing?
To get him. Don't let him get away. Well, we saw all of his great action scenes in T.J. Hooker, so the guy still had it.
Charles Bronson was also considered for the role of Popeye. No, it would have been good, but it wouldn't have been right.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been right. Yeah, he's definitely found his place in the Death Wish movies when you're doing New York
apart
stuff.
from the fact that the guy's based upon is Irish, and Gene Hackman has Irish ancestry. So
there you go.
Look at the listen to the music again. Oh, that scene there we are. Here's the scene, Ralph. Here's the scene. He's almost passing out. hold it, bang.
Yeah.
He gave him about 1 second after he said hold it and just shot anyway. Right through the back. Bang.
Yeah. And the thing is, nowadays there would be a giant litigation. Popeye would be under investigation. He'd be off the force, But the thing is, dude has already murdered somebody. It's a righteous shoot.
Absolutely. So we're coming up on, there's a Pan Am building. We're coming up on 1 hour 18.
Yeah, and for kids that don't know, Pan Am used to be an airline.
Yeah. Used to be.
Yeah, it used to go along with TWA, which should I say the joke of what we used to call it in the States back in the 80s or not? I don't think you'll be demonetized for it.
Go on then.
We used to call TWA Travel with Arabs because they were the ones that always got hijacked. Always.
Yes. Back in the day.
Yeah, it would be, there's been a hijacking. Let me guess, TWA Airlines. TWA flight, blah, blah, blah.
Now we have the nervous scene where finally, well, first of all, we have Buddy Russo comes down to the car park. Or should I say car park? Car park. You don't actually say this, the consonant on the end. It's car park.
Yeah. Oh yeah, K's are dropped. In the States, we call them garages, not garage.
And then he just totally by chance bumps into Sal Baca. And this one-to-one with them, which is just like Sal Baca's just not aware that he's a cop at all. But the way that Roy plays his character in this movie, it's just so low key, isn't it? I mean,
yes,
he's so good at it. What car is this? Did you said wasn't it? It's Lincoln, wasn't it?
It is a Lincoln. Yes, Lincoln's had the big place in what you call the boot or what we call the trunk, like a spare tire, and it would say Lincoln across the back. Lincoln, usually LTDs or Continentals.
Hood, bonnet, trunk, boot.
Oh, boot. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. I forgot. Of course, you're right. You're British.
It's hood and bonnet makes sense. It's the same thing, but trunk and boot.
Yeah, boot. Yeah, my bad.
Because it's the back of the car. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's like Oscar Wilde said, the Americans' English are two peoples divided by the same language.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, just like you referred to it as a car park, we refer to it as a garage. It's like,
I forgot that.
Why?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. No, it makes perfect sense. You park your car there. It's a car park. No. Or a parking garage. It's weird. Very strange.
But on the other hand, there's a lot of American phrases which make more sense than English words. So, it's a backwards and forwards.
Very much.
So, here we are in the downtown Rip Backyards.
There's the straw hat again. Yeah.
This lovely scene where they both look back. That car's dirty.
And okay, now think about this one. One of the other guys that was considered. What if Peter Boyle had played the part of Popeye?
I could see that. Because there's one point when Gene Hackman was watching them in the club and he looked a bit like Peter Boyle the way he was looking over.
I could see, I was going to say, I could see Boyle pull it off. Boyle's got the build. He's
even got the name as well, Boyle. Hey, Peter Boyle.
Boyle. Oh,
Peter
sorry.
Boyle likes the Goyles. Sorry, that was a dad joke. This is where they're. How long are we in the movie now? We're about
1 hour, 21 minutes, and 53 seconds.
Almost 1:22, and we're seeing this car go around 2 laps, sussing out the parked car. And of course, the crooks have done this so that it'll be stolen. It'll end up in a police auction. And then Henri can come and collect it, pretend it's his car, and then drive it to the location and sell the drugs. Now, I think these criminals were paid by were paid by Charnier.
That is a wild car. You don't see many like that.
Reminds me of like the saloon version of the Ghostbusters.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, like the sedan instead of the ambulance version.
Sorry, here we go again. You call it sedan, I call it saloon.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I wasn't even trying to correct you.
No, don't say sorry. I should apologize. So...
And you notice now the music score has dropped out. You just have a continuous sound just to build the tension, a little something to keep you uncomfortable.
Even though it's downtown, you've got a lot of American flags hanging out there. So,
yeah,
I don't know where it is. It's a strange mixture of things.
Well, that is a lovely America, especially in the 70s.
Well, see the typical scene of the steam vents and the lights coming through them, rather. Well, what the hell are these things? Steam vents? I mean, do they just have steam coming out of the road or something? Are they,
well, actually, in the Northeast, they do use a lot of oil heat, and they use radiators. So it is a side effect of the heating used in the buildings. So,
fine, but it looks fantastic, and you see
exactly.
It's all really good movies. The original Batman movie used that a lot. Here we go. So these fantastic 1971 cop cars.
Yeah. Now suddenly all these guys that were going to carjack it or jack the car are suddenly like, oh crap! Why do we have every cop in Brooklyn over here?
What the hell going on here? We got every goddamn cop in New York.
I love those 70s cop cars with that one giant light on top. Who's the boss? Who's running the op? Yeah.
I need to get a pork pie hat. I really do.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, no one's going to own up to being the boss.
No.
Who's the boss here? No.
Gene Hackman actively pursued the role in this movie and didn't expect to get it. But there you go, a bunch of lousy spit car thieves.
Yeah, see, and now they've turned around and foiled the plan accidentally. So
Robert Mitchum turned it down as well. Apparently, he claimed hated the story. That's bullshit. They would never have chose Robert Mitchum for this. A good actor, but he wouldn't have been right at all. He was too old for this as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now they're tearing the Lincoln apart, Ralph, to find the drugs. I love the scene. Now, the engineer or the mechanic in this scene, Ralph, is the actual mechanic who worked on the car in real life, in the real story.
Really?
It's the real guy. So, again, more authenticity. As far as authenticity is concerned, this is one of the most authentic movies ever made. And, so this guy is doing this. And he actually did this in real life, in the real story that this is based on.
And, and the thing is, at this point, when they know there's something big in there, they are going to do that. They will tear the car to pieces.
I've been neglectful of Cosmetti in the chat here, so I'm going to go back in the chat.
Yes, please.
Sorry, Cosmetti. I think NYC to DC is the same as NYC to Boston, faster on the DC train. Right, got you. So same distance. And then
a bit of an American. Oh yeah,
William Shatner works for all things. He does. He tries for everything.
True.
All Shatner all the time. Yes. And you've never lived until you've heard William Shatner sing "Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds."
Oh, that's true.
It's an experience. Who smokes a Churchill in a parking garage?
Garage.
I'm sorry I missed that, because that is a great line.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, they're even draining the oil out of the Transy. Yeah.
Now, steam is from hot water heat, not oil.
Right.
Come on, Ralph.
No. Let me clarify. They use the oil to heat things, and then the steam goes through the radiators. So I I phrased it badly, but yes, I understand. Yeah, it's not burning the oil.
Sorry,
it's from the steam.
Cosmetic says, try again. You failed.
Okay, I failed. Well, that's true. I am
Go
a
back
trailer
and
park
learn
manager in Texas. So now,
and if you want to hear what he just said, translated there is, I'm going to talk very fast in French and whine a lot, complaining in French.
Croissant, croissant, croissant.
Escargot. Pâté, pâté, pâté. Bâton.
Yeah, and oh goodness, yeah.
Oh, frites Belgique? No, the wrong country.
I can't think of anything. Sorry. Chevrolet.
Chevrolet. Let's think of anything in Canada. Trado. No, don't think of him.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't want to drag the Canadians
the first
into this.
4 letters are correct. It should just end with an E. Tragedy.
Exactly.
Tragedy.
Oh, do not smoke in here, sir. No, I'm sorry. This is 1971. You smoke everywhere.
Coal.
No, I understood it was all heat oil up there, but yeah, you know what? She would know. So I'll defer to Cosmetti as our heating expert.
Do you know what it is? Always defer to Cosmetti.
Always, absolutely.
Always, never. Honestly, So this guy here is the real mechanic on the real thing. They've looked all through the car. They've not found anything, but there's one place they haven't looked.
Oh, where have they not looked? Let's see. 4,700. Oh, they're comparing the weight of the vehicle.
Yes, the production line weight.
The gas tank.
Yes.
Now there we go.
They're going to work it out.
I can't believe that they dumped all the oil and transmission fluid and never checked the gas tank.
Cosmetti says, "Oh, an original Coke can! Look at that Coke can!"
I know. Okay, kids. Okay, kids. Before the Coke cans all said Coca-Cola Classic, they just said Coke, and that's because in the '80s they came up with the brilliant idea to create something called New Coke.
Yeah,
and everybody hated it. It was Pepsi. So
look at this, Ralph. Door sills hidden in the door sills.
Oh, that's impressive.
And they found it by calculating the weight difference. Now, what amazes me is they've ripped the shit out of this car, right?
Yes.
I would just say, look, do you remember 1944?
Yeah. The French love it when you bring that up.
You do remember that. You do remember Normandy.
Yes. If you're about 8 beers in and you ever say to a Frenchman, if it wasn't for America, that as soon as that starts off, a fight begins. I can't wait for him to see the car.
I'm British, and we never got invaded, but and we lasted the first 2 years of the war, thank God. But even I will fully acknowledge the role of the American soldiers and the fact that they all give their lives to defend freedom and defend Britain.
All right, so, and not to suck up to you. The thing is that you guys didn't get invaded because you stiffened up. You did the stiff upper lip thing, and you made sure that certain unnamed people would not be moving into your country. So,
indeed, and don't forget the English Channel, my dear. Oh yes, bloody English Channel. That, as Shakespeare said, it's like a moat.
Well, it's only 20 miles wide at the narrowest point between.
And thank goodness the Germans couldn't work it out like the Americans eventually did. They couldn't work out the flat bottom boat thing. Cosmetti says, "I'm just ribbing, Ralph. They do heat with oil in the northeast. We always had steam radiators. The building's hot water heat is the best heat. I miss it."
Yes.
She also says it's probably all baseboard now, not so many steam radiators. Very good.
Ralph wins. Fatality.
Now, so
okay,
in the movie, what we've just seen is that Henri's getting cold feet. He was supposed to pick the car up and drive it to the location because Chanier doesn't want to doesn't want to be associated. It's all about keeping a distance, you know. So Henri's had cold feet. He's away. Voilà, and he's away. So now Chanier has to drive the car himself.
Yeah.
So they got the car back. The thing that amazes me, Ralph, okay, is that they've put this car back perfectly.
I'm right there with you.
It's like, how the hell did they do that?
Yeah, you got me, because the way they had stripped that car apart, I thought it would never go back together. But you know, of course, I understand where Henri's coming from, because he had to wait there 4 hours. He knew the cops went over it wildly. So yeah, I would be a bit unnerved as well.
The reason Cosmetti said, "When will I see you again?" is because it was the 3 degrees. I'm sorry for not catching that earlier, Cosmetti.
Oh, no. Yeah,
when will I see you again? Now I can sing. Anyway, moving on. Burn.
Oh, out in the middle. Oh, yeah, there you go. I know.
There he is. Elliot Gould. Hello, Elliot Gould. Off you go that
way. Elliot Gould's brother.
Elliot Gould's cousin from up north.
Vinny Gould.
Vinny Gould from Albany.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I just came in for the day. They're paying me in potatoes.
Let's open this thing up here. Let's find this heroin.
Find this, look at that. Somebody's left loads of talcum powder in here. What the hell?
Oh, how about that?
Hang on, because Matty says, that huge light in the background is disturbing me. It's like a spaceship. Yes,
well,
when they were in the car, yes.
This is a prequel to Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I love that they always take a switchblade and slice open the packs of drugs, because
exactly,
you know, it's not just like
a macho thing, isn't it? This was the real drugs, and this is a real test.
Yeah.
So this is exactly what happens. You're seeing it on screen now. Again, I don't know how the hell he got the real drugs.
Well, you know, they were in New York. I figure it was probably Friedkin's. Oh no, Friedkin would have sent a production assistant. Hey, PA, go down to the corner and get me a kilo. Who on the crew twitches constantly? Yeah, send him.
He'll know where to go. Oh my goodness me. So here they are secreting the. Now that's about 1/10 of what you'd normally give an Afghani warlord. Anyway, hang on.
Not bad for 20 years.
So there you go. So if you wonder why your taxes are high, Ralph,
that's
gotta pay those Afghani warlords.
Oh, they're putting them back in the same place to get the money back out.
Exactly.
Clever.
Because he says that huge light. Yes, you said that, and as you said, I love these cars.
Yeah,
they're great, especially if you want to be a drug smuggler. Apparently.
Now I will tell you though, as somebody that has driven these cars, because Ralph is old, they drive like crap. So
you can see the suspension is awful and the handling's terrible. But when you look at these old movies, when I was growing up as a kid and I watched Starsky and Hutch and all this stuff,
oh yeah,
there was something beautiful about the way that they bounce in slow motion and they turn really slow and everything.
They're beautiful until you have to turn. Yeah, as long as you're going straight, they're wonderful cars. But yeah, as soon as you take a turn, it's like.
But it's all about the lowest common denominator bidder, isn't it? I mean, if in America, it's like some things turn out really amazing, but under the same, formula, some things turn out terrible. Now here we are here at 1 hour 36, almost 1:37. Oh look,
1 hour 36 minutes and 52 seconds.
And here he is, the whole lot. They've waited for them to do the deal. And this is where the paranoia overcomes, Johnny. And there, can you see? Popeye returns the favor and he waves back at him. He's been waiting for that moment.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go.
So now they've closed the net. And Here we go. Now this is great when the coppers turn up and everybody's running everywhere. And the way this huge Lincoln screeches to a shot and halt, and Shawnee runs out for cover. And his big double-breasted overcoat and his velvet trilby.
Yeah, it's like Elliot Gould's cousin just needs to throw his hands up and
Elliot
surrender.
Gould's more like Mario Brothers, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Luigi. I love that Gene Hackman was instantly able to suss out where the frog went. It's like
exactly straight in there. Now this great scene. I don't know what this place is because by 1971 it was already old. I don't know what it is. Maybe it was a electronics place or a. I don't know. It looks like.
To see. No, yeah, no. This would have been some normal manufacturing.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it looks like it's obviously been deserted. I mean, since the 30s, I don't know, maybe war times. And
filming location. Let's see here. Blah blah blah. Rat knees. What's fill it up here. I'm going to look to see if I can find where this is.
No, well, you keep talking for a minute. I've just got to mute for a second, buddy.
Oh yeah, yeah. So anyway, long story short. Yeah, this is going to be some kind of old factory. Oh, and we have a shootout. Out come the shotguns. You got to... Now, kids, back in the old days, cops used what were called revolvers and shotguns. So all the cops that have the little funny-looking guns that are tiny, those are revolvers. Snub-nosed detective specials, usually .38 caliber. And then the shotguns were the big thing. This was years before they came out with SWAT teams and stuff. So this was how they used to do stuff. Although they did flush them out with some kind of tear gas. So now we got Gene Hackman.
Okay, I'm
trying
back.
to hunt down the frog. Yeah, I was just pointing out this was pre-SWAT team stuff, which was created in Los Angeles in the 80s. So you're seeing everybody use revolvers.
Sal Bucker's bought it. There.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Roy Scheider got him. He almost shoots one of his own guys.
Yeah, it's Popeye almost shoots his partner here. It's Frog One's in the room.
Yeah, it's just so odd now with this being in the 70s. The movie takes
a completely different turn now, have you noticed? It's not the same movie. We're in the last 5 minutes. And something weird has happened. It's like the music indicates it as well. It's like something else has taken over and everything we've been through already no longer applies. We don't know whether it's in there or not. Now, this alludes to the fact that there was a conspiracy behind this where the people involved were protected. And we're going to find out
notice Roy Scheider's character is jumping from cover to cover to cover, but Popeye Doyle is just walking straight down the middle of the room, wide open, no cover. Very odd.
Now he's just shot there.
Okay, wait a minute. How did he shoot 7 bullets out of a 6-shot revolver?
Well, look what he's just done.
Oh, he shot one of our guys. Oh, dude. Oops.
Now, this is a guy who always criticized him, but the point is that Muldrick, played by Bill Hickman, right? They're sort of hinting that Muldrick was corrupt, but
yeah,
it could have been, or was he?
Well, I think it's more along the lines of he's not. You know, he realizes, okay, yeah, I screwed up, but bottom line is I've still got to get the frog. You know,
but I mean, that last scene there is like Popeye is just like, he's just killed one of his own. Now he runs off into the extremities and then he had one gunshot.
One gunshot, screech of a cat.
And that's it.
And then
we see Joel Weinstock, one of the gangsters, was indicted by the grand jury. Case dismissed, lack of evidence. Angie Bocker, guilty of misdemeanor, sentence suspended. Lou Bocker, guilty of conspiracy, possession of narcotics, sentence reduced. The only guy who actually got sentenced was Henri Devereaux, guilty of conspiracy. 4 years in the Fed pen.
Yeah. Let's
And
see.
Ralph, as
Ooh.
Alain Chenier, never caught, believed to be living in France.
May or may not be managing a trailer park in North Texas.
Detectives Doyle and Russo transferred out of Narcotics Bureau and resigned. Ooh. Now, that's a conspiracy, okay? I'm not going to say anything more about that. But if you want to look further into this, it's like a huge rabbit hole. It really is.
Well, and okay. Yeah, exactly. I think it's interesting to look into the conspiracy aspect of things because, you know, conspiracy gets a bad rap, but it's interesting to at least see the thought process behind it, the evidence that people present, you know, and things like that. What I get out of it more than anything, seeing that, you know, only Henri got 4 years in a federal penitentiary, which Fed prisons are not fun time, but that's 4 years. And for those of you who I don't recall if it was mentioned in the movie or not, but it was 112 pounds, which is just under 51 kilos of heroin. And this is going to be the top level stuff coming in. So that's before it's cut and put out on the street.
Yeah,
so
as pure as pure can be.
Yeah, millions of dollars. And this is, I think it was $32,071.
Well, listen to this,
which would
Ralph.
be huge today.
Massive, massive. It would be one of the biggest busts ever. But listen to this: a year after the film's release, the huge cache of heroin was still sitting in New York police vaults.
Oh yeah.
Seized because it was seized, was still sitting there. It all disappeared.
Oh, I'm not surprised. Okay, now and here's where I am critical of our justice system. Is okay. It's in the evidence vault because it has to be there as evidence for the trials. You know, but dirty people pick it up, it disappears. So you have 51 kilos of heroin that goes back on the streets by somebody that was dirty. All those people that got reduced sentences, you know, did they get reduced sentences because people felt sad for them? You know, were they able to convince the juries, or was it because the justice system, you know, the prosecutors, the judges and things, cut them a deal because, you know, they had a little something under the table? Really makes you wonder. You know, our justice system is not perfect in the U.S.
It's not. I wish it was. Well, I mean, goodness me, you've found out so many things in the last couple of years, haven't we? But James Caan and Peter Boyle turned down the role of Popeye Doll, as you said, Peter Boyle earlier. One of the reasons Boyle decided not to make the film was a reaction to his work in Joe in 1970s. Boyle's character was a bigoted man who went on a violent crime spree, but Boyle's horror audiences began cheering on his brutal activities, and some people liked it.
Well,
so he didn't want to encourage them. And we did Peter Boyle in another movie last time, didn't we, Ralph? We did Outland.
Yes, he was in Outland, and he was also he was in Young Frankenstein, which was done on my channel, which I believe is up on BitChute. I haven't kept it on YouTube because
we need to get those all back up. A year after the film's release, so we heard about it all went strangely missing. The traffic jam in Brooklyn Bridge was shot without permission, like almost everything on this movie. Where is it here? I've got something here which was in 1970, because Metty might want to hear this. Popeye is a crazy person. He is, and he was indicted for killing one of his colleagues. But the round trip plane ticket would be $54 at the time from New York City to Washington, D.C., and that's equivalent to $350 today's money. In fact, that's that's $2019. Since Biden, that's probably double. Double that.
Now, to be fair, you know, she pointed out it was quicker. It wasn't a long train trip, and it's probably quicker to take a train trip than a flight from New York to DC, specifically because of, you know, airline schedules, security, and all that. But you know, you brought up, I think you said $54.
Yeah, in 1970. Yep.
And I can remember as a young man, you know, this was
It's
at least a
massive,
decade later, my mom talking about spending $25 in groceries to feed my family of 3 for a week. So, you know,
yeah. I mean, I can say equivalent stories as well, and you know, it just shows the inflation's real. Roy Schneider was convinced he had lost the part because he stormed out of his audition.
oh,
That, in fact, was the reason why he was cast. Because he lost it. You know, we were talking about the way Friedkin was trying to wind up Gene Hackman.
yes.
Well, he loved the fact that Roy Schneider had a short fuse, and it was sensitive, and he wanted to use that because he wanted that energy. So that got him, actually got him the role. Now, William Friedkin also said he had the chase scene wasn't fully scripted. Largely conceived, but without the location scouting. But the permission you were saying earlier, because there was obviously, you know, that case where somebody went outside.
Yeah, somebody actually did hit them, yes.
So here's the down low on that. The car chase is filmed without obtaining the proper permits from the city. Members of the NYPD's technical force helped control traffic. Most of the traffic was achieved by the assistant directors with the help of off-duty NYPD officers. Many of them had been involved in the actual case. Interesting, because they've been involved in the actual case that the movie was based on. The assistant directors, under the supervision of Terence Donnelly, cleared the traffic for approximately 5 blocks in each direction. Yeah. It was given literally to control the traffic signals on the streets where they ran the chase car. But even so, in many instances, illegally, they continued the chase intersections where there was no traffic control system. And they actually had to evade real traffic pedestrians. How anybody didn't die, I don't know. Many of the near collisions in the movie were actually real, as you said, and not planned. So when you watch that chase scene, it's believable and scary and hair-raising because it's real. A flashing police light was placed on top of the car to warn bystanders. Camera was mounted on the car's bumper for the shots of the car's point of view. Hackman did some driving, but extremely dangerous stunts performed by Bill Hickman, as you said. Friedkin filming from the back seat, as you said. Friedkin operated the camera himself because the other camera operators were married with children.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly, because Friedkin was the single guy. So, hey, you don't have a family. You get in the back seat of that. I'm not going in the death wagon.
Unreal, absolutely unreal. That is incredible. I mean, to be honest, that marks the whole movie as the kind of thing that you would never see today, and for a good reason. Also, you're never going to see a movie like this again.
Okay, ever. Now. No, absolutely not. Okay, now wait, hold on a second. So I did see a couple other things. You know, we were impressed that they managed to put the car back together. Mm-hmm. They didn't actually put the car back together. They replaced it with a look-alike.
Wow.
So they found another car that looked like it. Yeah, and then they just hid the heroin in the same area.
Amazing.
And also,
I wonder how they did it.
Yeah, now you asked about the factory at the end. That was actually at Randall and Ward's Island. So I don't know exactly what was you know, where, like what factory they did it in, that kind of thing. But that is a small, basically island. Which Manhattan is an island, so it's like right in there within the Brooklyn, Manhattan area in New York. So
you know what you said about that's incredible. Well, there you go. So what was that? So what were they making then there?
I'm sorry, what was that?
So what were they making in that factory then?
I don't know. I haven't found the actual factory that they were using. I just found the location of the factory at the end. So I just know that it was on where
electronics or pharmaceuticals or something.
Well, it wouldn't have in '71. It wouldn't have been electronics. Probably pharmaceuticals or
probably pharmaceuticals. So,
Yeah.
you know what you said about Gene Hackman, the way Friedkin would wind him up and
Yes.
get him to breathe. Listen to this. William Friedkin employed various tactics in provoking Hackman into anger for the more gritty scenes. One of the techniques was to show dissatisfaction with Hackman, whatever he did, by repeatedly sighing heavily and shaking his head after every single take. So even when Hackman is brilliant, he would go,
you know, it is a wonder that William Friedkin wasn't murdered by Gene Hackman on this set.
That's exactly, because Gene Hackman's a big guy. He could have really socked him. But I mean, apparently it worked really well. Hackman was so angry he nearly quit on the second day of the movie. So it worked really well. But I mean, that kind of stuff, all of that kind of stuff, living on the edge, doing that stuff, gave us this movie, which is really intense.
Now let's throw this out there. You know, this one won what, Academy Awards? It's a fantastic movie. Yeah. It was moved into National Film Archives. I know Library of Congress has it. Mm-hmm. The French Connection cost $1.8 million to make.
Yeah,
and it cost $1.8 million because it went over budget by $300,000. Yeah. So it had a budget of $1.5 million. It earned back $51.7 million.
Exactly.
So it was a blockbuster for its time on what's, oh my gosh, you know, the budget of an indie film now.
Yeah.
So absolutely amazing what they were able to do.
When you think about the fact that it was something that studios would think, well, what the hell is this? What's the subject matter and why are you filming that? And another thing they did was they deliberately made the film stock grainy so it would look gritty. It would look like a documentary.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask. I didn't do the research on the back end to see if they shot it with actual 32 millimeter or if they did 16 millimeter or what, because it did look kind of grainy in some areas, but it fits very well. And like you pointed out with the lighting, you know, the lighting was very subtle but genius. So, you know, you got to give it.
Yeah, because the people who involved in this movie, the cinematographers, the lighting directors, the cameramen, were all like the best, the absolute best you could possibly get.
Yeah. So cinematography was Owen Roisman, and I'm sorry. Yeah, I cut you off. Go ahead, please.
No, it's fine. I'm just going to say that they wanted to produce something that looked real, completely real. So this is a unique moment in cinema where it's taking it up another level. Cinema, you suspend disbelief.
Oh man,
you know it's an art form, but in this instance, they wanted you to really, because it was based on a real life thing. They wanted you to believe you were actually there as the events were actually unfolding at the time. And yes, there's still conventions that it adheres to.
Okay, so he received 5 Academy Award nominations for Best Cinematography: The French Connection, The Exorcist, Network, Tootsie. Oh, okay.
Wyatt Earp. Everybody's got to have a. Yeah, everybody's got to have a.
Well, yeah, you know, and then he went into The Heartbreak Kid.
Don't forget Burt Reynolds did Littlest Courthouse in Texas.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's a movie that had slipped off my radar. But yeah I mean,
everybody has a.
But yeah, it's interesting. He did The French Connection here with Friedkin, and then he was cinematographer for The Exorcist in '73. So interesting. And of course, Network.
It was an interesting moment in cinema. Of course, this launched Gene Hackman's career. And just a quick chat about Gene Hackman. He was not well known before he made this movie in '71. But after he made this movie, he got, well, we don't want to talk about the Poseidon Adventure.
Well, you know, we've got to. I'm sorry. You go into the Poseidon Adventure, you go into the airport movies, you go into the Towering Inferno, Yeah, it's a period of American cinema where the disaster movie reigned. I'm sorry. Yeah, it happened. I'll apologize for it later, but yes.
No. So one thing that I really sort of picked up on straight away when I saw this movie was, you know, when they're listening on the tape and all the surveillance, I thought, wow, one of my most favorite movies ever is The Conversation in 1974. Now, I'm sure this was an inspiration for the people who produced The Conversation, which is about surveillance. It's about a guy who was a surveillance genius. And I'm sure this was an inspiration for that. But, I mean, you talked about Peter Boyle. 74, it was Blind Man and Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, I was just looking that up. I was like, I'd forgotten he was the blind man in Young Frankenstein.
Everything keeps channel, Ralph.
It's October. We're right back to Young Frankenstein again.
We should do it again, man.
We should do it again. You know what? Okay, folks, I was thinking about doing a live watch through of a movie watch live of Christine over on my channel for Halloween. Should I do that, or should I do Young Frankenstein again and get even more drunk this time? And let's see if Ralph can keep it together or not. Throw something in the comments. Let us know.
Yeah, let's do a vote on it. Let's throw it out on Twitter, on Gab, everywhere. Just say, look,
there you go.
What do you want? I think you should get people to vote between Young Frankenstein, Christine, and Tremors.
Okay, yeah, Tremors.
Go for that. You're covering a lot of different options there. You're covering.
Yeah, if we don't do Tremors for Halloween, we'll definitely do it down the road. But I was thinking it's John Carpenter. It's one I haven't done, and it's a movie that I like that I think is actually a pretty good adaptation of a Stephen King novel. So
yeah, definitely.
Plus, Christine is one of my favorite Stephen King novels. So, I'm sorry, Haunted Car. All right, pretty good. So, all right.
Well, it's definitely American, isn't it? It's definitely American, isn't it?
Because very American. You start off on the assembly line with "Bad to the Bone" from George Thorogood. Absolutely, yeah.
Well, there's a few options actually. 1971 and 1981. There's a few options we could look at there if you want to go on that line. But otherwise, Christine's a good option. But yeah, going back to God, what was I talking about there?
I don't want to wait 2 years for Christine to do the 40th anniversary.
No. But yeah. So I was talking about Gene Hackman, previous roles, Young Frankenstein. He was brilliant in that. French Connection 2 obviously came out after the same character. 1975 came out 4 years later. You had Bridge Too Far, where he plays Major General Sosabowski. Not very good. We've done Bridge Too Far on this channel. Not a great movie.
You know what?
It's got a cast of a million amazing stars, but it's a really crap movie. And to be honest, who wants to do a movie about the worst military operation the British ever went on?
Yeah, but you know what? I'm just sitting here thinking about a movie that Gene Hackman was in that I love, and that's The Unforgiven with Clint Eastwood.
Yes, now that is an incredible movie.
Such a great movie. Great movie. So
incredible movie. I mean, you've got obviously Superman 1, Superman 2. We've done Superman on this channel, haven't we, Ralph? So we've got by the way, we haven't done the Ralph Donner cut. I tell you what we should do.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Superman 2 is 40 years old this year, right? We need to do that, but we're going to do the Ralph Donner cut if we can find it.
Okay.
He was in Reds in 1981. But yeah, I mean, he's been in a lot of movies, which are sort of political movies. He was in.
What was the one in the 90s? Was it Conspiracy Theory?
Well, he was in Mississippi Burning in '88.
Oh, Crimson Tide was a great movie too.
Yeah. Unforgiven 92.
Enemy of the State.
Yeah.
There you go. That was a good one.
He was in
yes.
The Quick and the Dead. Oh my goodness me! I mean,
yeah.
I used to really, really like Russell Crowe, but I can't stand him now.
Well, yeah, but
The Quick and the Dead, he really plays the sort of like devil's advocate character so well. Birdcage, haven't seen that movie, but he was in Get Shorty. I forgot.
Wait a minute. The Birdcage, the Robin Williams movie.
Yeah, 96.
Oh, that was actually pretty good. Oh, I remember. Yes, he played the father of the bride. So yes, that was a good role too. Interesting look back on 90s culture, especially how things such as
90s was
gay
like,
lifestyle and things were looked at.
90s was the decade that everybody had to be sorry about the 80s, wasn't it?
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, he was in Enemy of the State. That was a really good movie, fantastic movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, Behind Enemy Lines, I do really like that movie, actually.
I have not seen that one. That is one that should be on my list because it checks all the boxes, but I've just not
No Way Out,
set aside the time.
No Way Out is really good. Oh, well, hang on. What about The Firm? He was in The Firm as well. That's not even on here. Where is it? The Firm's not even on here. You know, with Tom Cruise. Yes.
I know what you mean.
93, The Firm.
I was going to say that would be early 90s.
There we go. So, I mean, he's been in probably most, I would say 90% of his work is
very prolific actor. He's been in a ton of things. So
he's just a very, very, very good actor. So can't criticize him at all for that. Get shot of the Birdcage. You see, Cosmetti's still here. We're keeping you up, Cosmetti. Sorry about that.
Sorry, Cosmetti.
We've got. I'll just quickly go back. Tony's appeared. Tony, you're in the credits at the start of the movie. You'll have to go back at the start and have a look. You're appearing there somewhere. I've credited you in the start of this. In the start of this show. Cosmetti says Tony! ! Tony, brother. Shows I'm not looking at the chat there. Hey, Cosmetti. Also, Cosmetti says, do it. I don't think you think we should do Young Frankenstein again. You can't not do it. Do all three. Which you should do all three, actually. But Bat 21 is also with Gene and Danny Glover. Yeah, I haven't seen that one, actually. I have heard a lot of really good reviews about it. I've never seen it, but I think it's everything. Every time somebody says it's like Bat 21.
I'll have to check that one out. I have not. I haven't watched that.
People have, so Richard Donner, it's a fun movie. It definitely is. Birdcage is great. I've never seen Birdcage. I'm gonna have to watch that.
Oh yeah, you'll have to see the Birdcage because we actually took our daughters to see that, and they were very uncomfortable because it's 90s 90s caricatures of the actors, but it's entertaining
as well, isn't it? So
yeah.
Get Shorty, I really do like that movie, even though I think obviously the guy who plays the title role, as we know, Travolta, is a bit strange.
A little bit.
Have you ever seen Wild Hogs, by the way?
No, I remember the movie.
Crisis movie.
Yes.
Welcome to Mooseport. Earned his career thanks Ray Romano.
It's Ray Romano. What can you say?
Tony's knowledge is amazing. Really, it is. I sleep when I want to.
Of course you do.
I sleep when I want! Exclamation mark. Yes.
You are the boss. You are the boss, Lady K.
You do indeed. And as long as the chucks are okay, that's all that matters. But yeah, I mean, this movie is really the one that changed cinema, and also in crime dramas and filmmaking. It brought the sort of documentary changes that had happened in Europe into American cinema, but it also launched the career of Gene Hackman and Roy Scheider as well. But the Best Actor Award for 1972 New York's Film Critics was Gene Hackman. And Peter Finch for Sunday Bloody Sunday. Critics conducted a recount. The award went to Hackman, however. And Hackman deserves it. But Eddie Egan, who stars in the movie as Simpson, who was the real guy from The Real Story, wanted his catchphrase in the film to be "Addicts in the cellar, sellers in the attic."
Addicts in the cellar. Okay.
Addicts in the cellar, sellers in the attic. Okay,
That's
so that's a tongue
interesting.
twister. Now, as an Irishman, and I'm part Irish, I love wordplay, and that is genius, absolutely genius. I love all that kind of stuff.
Oh
But
wow, that was
direct.
I was
Sorry,
sorry.
go ahead.
I was just looking at Eddie Egan. He was also he was a Marine, so he was in the Corps, and he was called to active duty for the Civil War after playing AAA baseball for the Yankees. So
Yeah, he was an
he's about
absolute.
as American can get.
You've
Yeah.
got it. You've got it. And you see the differences in America. In America, if you have the balls, you get the reward. Well, I don't know today's America, but certainly at the time, if you had the balls for it, you get the reward.
Well, that's always been, the American dream, which is you go out, you work hard, you put everything into it, and you eventually achieve success. That's the idea behind the American dream. And whatever people think it is now, that is the way that people in my generation still think. So you go out, you put the work in.
This is it, and hopefully those days will come back. So, one or two last little bits of trivia before we go, and we'll end with a little sum up of the movie and its legacy, and then we'll go. But we don't really want to go because Matty and Tony are in the chat and we're having such a great time. But
absolutely,
we don't want to keep people up too late. The lead role, we talked about so many people who were offered it, but Lee Marvin was one of the people who was offered the title.
Man, that would have just been odd.
I mean, 4 years after Dirty Dozen, he already looks. I mean, I love Lee Marvin, brilliant actor.
Yeah, but he was born 100 years old. I mean, I'm sorry, man.
He could not have done it. He could not have done this role.
No.
The nickname for Jimmy Doyle, Popeye, is the nickname of Eddie Egan, who's in the movie, who plays Simerson, who looks like a brick shithouse. And if Tony's still listening, he will understand as an Aussie what the term brick shithouse means.
and shame on Americans who don't understand what that means, because we share that term. That is a common slang term that we get as well. But where did the nickname Popeye come from? I haven't found that.
Yeah, so basically Egan reportedly got the nickname because he was always had his eyes wide open, and because he would often flex his biceps, just like Popeye after so he would basically grab somebody and then he'd flex his biceps to intimidate them. And that's how he got the nickname Popeye, because he was flexing his biceps.
I figured he'd just take out a giant can of spinach before he chased him down the
crushed it open, popped it open. When I eat my spinach, etc. The nickname Cloudy for Russo, his partner, Popeye and others used when referring to his partner, Buddy Russo, comes from the nickname that Egan had given his partner, Sonny Grosso, the inspiration for Russo in the film. It was a play on words based on his first name and his gruff attitude. So instead of being a positive and sunny person, he was often grouchy and therefore cloudy because he was. So there you go. So
little black cloud. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was. Again, Irish wordplay, because the Irish love playing with words and playing with language. Tony Nasser says, I can't type anymore. And our very own Ralph says, me neither, buddy, I'm wasted. And you know what? I am too. I think the Belgian ale has got the better of me. I think I'll be having paracetamols before I go.
There you go.
Indeed, says Tony. Because when he says you're not keeping Tony up, it's the middle of afternoon for him. It is actually. And right now, Tony's sitting outside watching the kangaroos hop by.
You know what? Go throw a rock at those bloody roos, man. I'm not sure of what part of Oz you're in, but yeah, I know it's somewhere in the afternoon over there. Midday.
Well, if you ever go anywhere and they offer you kangaroo steak, don't bother eating it. And I'm sure Tony will agree with me, because in Australia, you do know what they do with kangaroo meat. It becomes food. It's basically dog food. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. You get to the States, we'll go to the gun range, we'll have a few beers, and we will go out and eat alligator.
Well, I wanted to go for the wild boar because Texas has apparently got loads of wild pigs.
Yeah,
It's got everything I want. It's got everything I want.
Okay, spoiler alert, folks. I have access to a place where we could probably go hunt wild boar. So, yes, work that out.
Excellent, excellent. And then we can have a barbecue. Back to Australia again. So Cosmetti says, I think it's tomorrow for Tony. Smiley face. He's traveled back in time to chat with us. Well, no, Tony's in the future. Now, if I'm in the future from America, Tony's actually in the future from me. So Tony is like even more advanced Doctor Who than me. If I'm a Doctor Who, Tony's like extreme Doctor Who. He's like Trump Doctor Who.
Oh yeah. Tony is a day ahead of me. I think you're at least on the same day as him. I'm in yesterday for him.
Tony is like basically, I think it's Australia, maybe New Zealand. We won't talk about New Zealand.
Plus, Tony is about to head into spring, and he's in spring now. I'm in fall.
Yes,
so.
This is it. This is it. I see. But the thing is, in Australia, you know, winter is basically like summer in Britain.
Yes.
It's never really cold.
Well, and I've heard that when Santa Claus comes to visit the folks down under, he stops off to switch his reindeer out for kangaroos. That's what I've been told, but that was told by a Kiwi. A Kiwi told me that, so it may be a dirty lie.
Yeah, never trust a Kiwi.
Yeah, you can never trust a Kiwi.
But only joking, because there might be some Kiwis listening here. But
it's true. Yeah, it's a joke, guys.
Australia is the only country in the world where you have, well, one of the few countries in the world where you have Christmas dinner on the beach as a barbecue.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, well, and I believe I do have an Aussie buddy that lives in the States that I believe has talked about the Christmas picnics. So
there you go. He says because Matty says I think it's midday. Tony says midday, and Brisbane, few roos near me, more koalas.
Oh, can't trust the koalas, buddy. Yeah,
the big reds you got to be careful of, Ralph. The big reds are the worst.
Basically, everything in Australia kills you except the roos, and the roos will kill you, but they're not as efficient at it. So
exactly, and everything else will kill you. Don't go in the water. Don't go in the rivers. Don't go in the creek. Don't go in the woods. Don't go on the outback. Don't sit on the dunny.
Yeah,
because the redbacks are in there.
Zip yourself up in an environmental suit and don't come out until you leave Oz. Everything kills you.
Basically, just dress yourself up like Ned Kelly. And then, by the way, Iron Man, a total steal, stolen from Ned Kelly. But Cosmetti, heart, and
oh no, Tony that's a cat.
That's a cat.
Yeah, that's a cat.
Yeah, it's a cat. It is. My goodness, I've had too much beer. Reverse polarities. It is.
Yes, reverse the polarity.
It's spring. It's hot already. Tony says winter is shorts, t-shirt weather in Queensland. Yes. Yeah. Koalas kill. Koalas are the grumpiest little bastards.
Yeah. Look, do a search for koala claws, Cosmetti, and you'll understand why we're like, no. Yeah, they look cute until they start gutting you. So
they hide in the trees and they just attack people they don't like.
Yeah, I want my eucalyptus leaves, and if you don't give them to me, I'm going to cut you.
Yep, wombats are all right though. Wombats are okay. So
yeah, just don't fight a war with emus.
It's a koala bear. Go home, you drunks. Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, it is time.
That's fair enough. So. Legacy wise,
I see what she's saying. That emote. It's not a cat, it's a koala. Okay, yeah. All right, I'll lay off the scotch next stream.
Well, I have to be honest with you, Cosmetti. When you look at the chat and StreamYards, all you see is blob,
Yeah, well, that's kind of my thing.
Every emoji just looks like a blob, and then for almost all of the other emojis, it's just a square.
Yeah, I had it on my big monitor, and it still looked like a cat. Yeah, I guess it's a koala. Yes.
And there you see what Cosmetti's just said there. In StreamYards, that's just square. StreamYards is crap.
Yeah, we're guessing at what you're trying to tell us. Yeah.
Yes, we're playing into it. But no, legacy wise. Oh, by the way, you said film locations.
Oh yeah.
Wow, so many locations. I mean, there's like 30 odd locations there. I'm not going through that.
No. Long story short, it was shot in New York, and
yes,
it was shot in Europe for the Europe stuff. So everywhere that didn't have trash was Europe. Everywhere that had trash was New York.
Exactly. So I'm going to quickly touch on the reception and legacy, and then we'll go. And the sort of reception legacy of the movie was that most of the critics really loved it at the time, and it took people by storm, really, because they didn't know how to take it, because it was so revolutionary. It was even good enough to keep the critics happy. Kurosawa, who was one of my most favorite directors ever, Akira Kurosawa, the Seven Samurai and all of that.
Yeah, Kurosawa weighed in on this.
Oh yeah, because it went over cultural boundaries. And Kurosawa was a massive American file. In other words, he loved American culture. He cited The French Connection as one of his most favorite films ever.
Oh, that's high praise.
It is indeed. Steven Spielberg, at the other end of the scale, said that he studied The French Connection in preparation for his 2005 historical action thriller film Munich. So Munich was like an homage to The French Connection.
Well, and I could see why he would want to go to that source material, because similar time frame, 72 Munich Olympics, but you're dealing with a gritty police situation where you're trying to get behind the scenes. So yeah, interesting. I didn't know that.
Absolutely. I'm going to quickly go about the chat here. So we've got no, don't lay off the scotch.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you.
I think Cosmetti wants you also to break out a nice cigar as well. I'll stop using emojis, even though I love them. I love them as well. Cosmetti.
Never stop.
Never stop using emojis. Tony Nastasa says black square, black square, black square, black square, black square, black square.
Okay, Tony, you can stop with the emojis.
StreamYard hates emojis.
I don't know what that is. Stacks of cash.
Lol. Tony Nastasa says this will mess with them. It will, and it does.
Yes, very much.
But because StreamYards is evil. But yeah,
you get a 48-inch monitor for the bunker here, where I can see with the emojis.
So Rotten Tomatoes, we don't give a shit about what they want to say.
Oh yeah, they're no good.
Metacritic, however, I still have some faith in Metacritic. 94% on Metacritic. Reviews from 18 critics indicating universal acclaim. I won't bother to read what several critics, feminist critics from the New Yorker magazine wrote.
Yeah. You know what? Roger Ebert gave it 4 out of 4, so that's high praise for the 70s.
That's good enough for me. But yeah, the overall, as you said earlier yourself, the overall effect of the movie was that it was a huge success with audiences who loved the movie from start to finish.
Gosh, and the awards on this.
Yeah, well, it was so well made. It proves that making good movies and making something new is not about trying to be effete or elitist or artsy-fartsy. It's about being really good at what you do. And like any great artist or any artist, I should say, when you make something new, you're thinking about your audience when you make it.
Well,
And
exactly. This was taken from a novel, and y- yeah, they worked something original into it and made it something uh, something amazing. So you know, I hope and pray we never get a French Direction reboot, or I'm sorry, French Connection reboot.
well, but no, you're right. I mean, the fact is that it works on a very visceral level. Everything about this movie is very. I mean, you can't go wrong with the way they've done it because we've all had to at some point exist in a city or lived a life, not obviously a criminal life, but we've lived a life in society. We've experienced society. We've lived in big cities.
Yeah,
They're not the best. But it relates to all of us because it's done in a very visceral way. And it's a bit of a stream of consciousness, this movie as well. It's a bit like they follow the action, they follow the activity, and it's very human. It's a human story again.
yeah.
And it's not flipping and I've got nothing against superheroes, and I love Superman, the story, Batman. I'm a Batman man and a Superman man. I love all of that. But this is like gritty reality done
Right.
well, and it's talking about the reality of life, and
No,
it's
and
done so well.
exactly, yeah. And I think gritty sums it up well because it's not like what you normally saw up to that point where it was the good guys come in, they have sterling moral standards, they're always the good guys, they're, upstanding pillars of society.
Yeah.
In this case, you're seeing a lead actor that, isn't the nicest guy in the world, but he is a good guy. So,
I think the
yeah, I
biggest
like it.
thing about this movie is, for me, I'm going to ask you your overall opinion in just a second before we close.
Uh-huh.
Biggest thing for me in this movie is it does what it says on the tin or the can, and it translates something which wasn't done previously, and it revolutionized the genre, in my opinion. Just like you said, funnily enough, Gene Hackman starred in Unforgiven, which I think was a revolutionary form of a Western movie.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
really brought something new. And this movie really influenced everything. Hill Street Blues, every other crime movie, film, movie, and TV show ever afterwards was like, wow, we've got to look at French Connection.
Yeah.
And that to me is what it did. It did what it said on the tin, but it brought something new to the table. And in that essence, it's a very essence of what we do on this channel, which is about the whole thing of the narrative. You go back thousands of years, the narrative was told around a fire somewhere, and somebody told a story about something, and they brought something new to the table. And that was the whole point. Storytelling is you're bringing something new to the table. You're bringing something new, undiscovered. Stories and tales of something you don't know about, and you're enriching the lives of the people around you. And this is what this film does. It brings something new. So what was your overall takeaway from this movie, Ralph?
I very much enjoyed it. Uh, you know, I am very fortunate to be able to co-host on here and get to watch cool movies. And I enjoyed this one specifically because we were able to go in, we were able to see a cool movie with great action, great cinematography, and able to provide an example where people can go back and look to see your character doesn't have to be perfect to be a good guy, to be a good character, to be interesting. And Gene Hackman in the role of Popeye Doyle, yeah, I think it fits very well.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So it was the third highest grossing film of 1971, and quite rightly so as well. It stood the test of time. It's a revolutionary movie. It was inspired by the movies such as Z or Z from 1969 and Breathless from 1960, with the handheld documentary style where they would just go around with little, and it proves that you can be a movie maker with just the basic stuff. You don't have to have big high-tech stuff. Get a camera, make a movie. This channel is all about let's reinvigorate the movie industry because Hollywood's dead, in my opinion, anyway. And it's the small movie makers who are going to bring things back again.
Yeah,
and get out there and make a movie. If you've got a brilliant idea, do it. Sorry, go ahead, Ralph.
No, I was gonna piggyback on that. Exactly. It's all about the idea. It's all about the story. You don't have to have a huge budget. You don't have to have tons of CGI. You just have to have a story that connects with people, and that's what makes a great movie.
Absolutely. French Connection 2025, starring the cast of Stranger Things.
Oh, hold on a minute. I'm going to get a gun and I'm going to end it right now.
Oh, no. Yes.
All right, hold on. 50 years from now, that'll be 2075. I'll be dead, so we won't have to deal with that one. Thank you, Tony.
Absolutely. And it was filmed on, if you answer your question from earlier, Ralph, it was filmed in 86 separate locations throughout the entire New York City metropolitan area. So they covered just about everywhere. Amazing work. I mean, it is a pleasure to watch it. But yeah, an incredible movie. We could go on and on and on for hours about it. It's such a good flick. But obviously, we don't want to keep people up any longer than they have to be. So once again, it's a great honor to host the show and have Ralph as a co-host.
No, it's my pleasure to be here.
It's a great honor as well to have Cosmetti and Tony in the chat. If you go back to the start of the show, Tony and Cosmetti, you'll notice that you're credited at the start there.
Yeah,
executive producers.
There you go.
And it's also a great honor to everybody who's subscribed to the channel. We're getting to 2,000 subscribers soon. We're going to do a big special celebration of that. And everybody who watches live, who hasn't joined the chat, and everybody who watches recorded, we appreciate all of you so much. It's been a tremendous experience watching this fantastic movie. Once again, what a great night. Thank you again to Cosmetti and Tony in the chat. Thank you everybody who watched recorded and watched live. And thank you to Ralph, my co-host for tonight. Thank you, Ralph. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And with that, I don't want to, but I'm going to have to wrap it up, and I'm going to have to say good night. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
And don't pick your feet in Poughkeepsie.
Yeah, not in Poughkeepsie.